get started. How you guys doing today? How are you? Welcome. Glad to have you here. House Sparks Megaworldwide. We're live more than we should be, arguably. Twice in one day. If you missed the morning show, please go back and check it out. Like and subscribe, thumbs up, all that kind of stuff. Clips to come, short little things. Could be very exciting. There was a lot to discuss. It was an exciting weekend. Those of you that dropped in for the Trump live gathering.
While they drown your endless torment of, what they do, they have an endless list of propaganda and propaganda methods.
What the best words said in the best way, But yes, in general.
God bless the United States. Thank you very much.
So we have a lot to cover today. I'm going to jump straight into it because of dear God. There's just so much going on. Hold on, let me grab this first one. Where to start though? It's always a Herculean effort to decide which parts. Let's see. Blow this. There you go. Blow that sucker up. Come on. You can't just have a little bit of Stankfield. You got to. Okay. So there's this one. This is Stankfield saying is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. So apparently he bought an answering machine and listened to his own voice. This is it. This is the big conspiracy. Glenn Beck, hidden data from the Fed should be today's biggest story in the world. Oh my God. What could they possibly be hiding that only Glenn Beck has access to? Bongino worked his way back onto YouTube. By the way, YouTube, it might kick this off in the middle of the show. Hey, YouTube, he's found a workaround. He's posting his shit on although he's doing it from Fox, so technically speaking, he can't say all of the stuff that got him kicked off on his own little channel on the Fox channel because they're covering their bases. So obviously okay. We'll see. And then, oh God, dear God, just when you thought it couldn't get any more racist, Dinesh brings his wife back on. And then, of course, this is about empty shelves. Why the shelves are empty and getting emptier. I don't... Can we just jump right into this bullshit right away? I don't even know how long this one is, but you can't get emptier than empty. At just like the baseline, simple, how hard is it? It's not difficult. There's no you can't be emptier than empty. That's it. Empty is the bottom of the spectrum. You can show up there and they expect, what's emptier than empty? You go to the grocery store and they're like, why didn't you bring a can of soup? Put it back. Yes, by the way, I did grab Magoo, so that I could have that just for myself. Magoo. So it's just terrible. Magoo. All right. Now, let's just dive right in on this. But I also have this. There's so much. There's Don Jr. This ridiculousness. Oh, Christina Bobb is just this. By the way, there's a whole section of them crapping on Republicans. Diamond and Silk have had it with the rhinoceroses, and then of course, whatever. If we get in the dregs, we can deal with Peter Navarro. If we absolutely have nothing, I'm Goldbluming on you. I'll tell you what the problem is. Your scientists spent so much time thinking about whether they could do it, they never thought of whether they should. And now you slapped a label on it, put it on a lunchbox, and now you want to sell it. All right. That is chaos theory. So let's see.
Debbie and I have been talking for,
oh no, for far too long.
While now about shortages.
I'm sorry, I'm a 9-year-old. This is fucking, please. I'm sure it's come up a lot in your marriage. Oh my God.
I've been talking for, well, a little while now about shortages. And
I'm going to die. Look at her eyes. Oh, thanks. Look at that. Ethan bringing me a smoothie. Plenty good. Thanks, man. Love. What? That's my girlfriend's kid. And he's a good man. He's a solid human being. From and it's green, so it will blend it, so it's partially invisible, and it's from Fruits and Roots, which is great. It's very, very healthy. I am loved. It's true. I'm gonna. They say hi, Ethan. He went upstairs already. This is. I need to keep this audio forever.
Debbie and I have been talking for, well, a little while now about shortages.
They apparently go to the same marriage counselor that Ben Shapiro goes to. All right.
And of course, I think the shortages.
By the way, look at her face. She got the joke and moved on. She went, don't. We're it's online.
Part of a bigger problem. I mean, really, if you look at America, honey, I haven't told you this. This is my favorite line of the day. We're sort of, as Americans, we're passengers in a plane that is being flown by a decrepit and demented pilot.
You mean Biden?
Yes. Oh. I mean Biden.
Oh, this is so fun. What a wonderful analogy. It's a fantastic plane. It's a decrepit pilot. Who happens to be landing this? Oh, look at this. I can't eat this. Nah, I'd like chicken, and I'll have it, you put it in the fridge, and that's awesome. Thanks. Look, he got food too. He knew I had an upset stomach yesterday, so he's trying to help me refeed. So just
And I mean that there's a crew in the plane that's assisting Biden, but they're not assisting him to fly the plane. They're assisting him in concealing his dementia from the passengers. And what that means is if Americans think that things are going okay, well, they've succeeded. You don't know what's going on. You have a good reason to be...
Yeah, just because you go out and you've got a job and things are improving and your wages are going up and, you know, there's elements of all the bad stuff is because of worldwide slowdowns in the supply chain, and Biden's taking actions to reshore factories in the supply chain as much as he possibly can as president. Don't let that lure you into a false sense of security. These two people are panicking because their world is crashing, and therefore so should yours.
Worried. Now, with regard to these shortages, which we want to talk about today, I mean, let's start by saying it's affecting us. So we have our...
Oh, I no doubt the shortages are affecting the two of you.
Media room, and people go, oh, you have a media room. Well, we're in the media business, so we do have a media room. We sometimes will have investors come and watch a movie and so on. So we're replacing our chairs, and this was supposed to happen, in August of last year.
Oh, so you're not buying American chairs? That's what are we finding out here? We're finding out that they're replacing the chairs in their media room. Dear God. And they don't want to buy American. Fuck that.
And it's now scheduled, and after several delays, we're supposed to get these chairs, just chairs.
Well, the first thing, it was a delay in the foam. They didn't have the foam, so there was a shortage of foam.
Right.
They got the foam, and then the latest delay was the mechanics. So in other words, can't lean or whatever, you can't fit.
Yeah, for our investors, they may fall asleep during one of our movies, so we like these chairs to like where we can push a button and they fucking hell. Listen to this asshole. It's basically, guys, we're living in the Depression. This is the fucking Dust Bowl. You can't get automated reclining chairs at the speed that you would like. It's not like 2020 actually happened, how are we? Fucking hell.
The chair up and down.
And then the delay after that was that they thought that the chairs were on a truck, and they evidently weren't. So it's the trans. of the completed product. Anyway, if this seems a little esoteric to people, and we're
Esoteric? It's not a meditation pod, fucko. It's petty. That's the word you're looking for. If this seems pathetic and petty, it is.
supposed to get these shares. We'll see if it happens, I guess, February 7th, something like that.
Dear God, you're going to have to wait till Monday. Stop it. The investors are coming over never. What happens if you make a movie that you need to show to investors during that time?
And then I'm reading articles, and and you were sort of outraged about.
Did your reading articles chair arrive on time? You didn't have to read them sitting up, did you? Dear God.
The fact that people cannot buy pet food.
Right. So
Motherfucker. Don't walk into a rake this early, because I have a picture. So random. This is such. You guys know I don't pre-watch these fucking things. So I went in and I was looking up stuff on. Where is it? Damn it! I had this whole page open. Is it Chrome or was it? Yes, this guy. Nope. Is it behind here? One second. This is fun. Earlier today. This guy. Wait. Yeah, son of a bitch. Okay. So this is this is from the Cape Cod Times. I was looking at this earlier, not that part. This is, oh my God, look at all the cat food that's missing. By the way, from here to here is fucking cat food. Yeah, it's horrible. I mean, obviously, don't pay attention to any of this. This is what you need to see. And obviously, don't pay any attention to anything forward of this. Look how empty this particular brand. Okay, people are having to stock other brands of cat food because they can't get the remnant scrapings from these brands of cat food that they use in processed cat food to, from slaughterhouses because of they're keeping everything essentially. Because the rich folks' cat food are the ones where the fluffy cats, the ads where a fluffy yet starving cat charges towards a thing. Yeah, they can't. Don't just look. Ignore from here forward. Don't look at this part. Look right here. Look how empty these are. This is not obviously to here. This brand is out. Dear God. I was literally looking at this like just a few minutes ago before this. You're going to fucking pet food. Piss off.
a couple of weeks ago, a friend of mine posted this.
Oh, great. An anecdote about not being able to buy a specific brand of pet food. 666 super chat. Yay. We got 666 people in the chat right now as people roll in. If you feel like supporting the show, super chatting or Venmoing $6.66, or hey, $666. It's up to you. Any derivation therein is good. No job is too big. No fee is too big. We're just glad to be here handling everything. Fucking, oh, great. Hang on, though. Here it comes. A personal anecdote about cat food.
This photo of some empty shelves, and she has cats. And she was so upset.
Oh, dear God. Where were these empty shelves? She has cats. Really? Your friend has cats?
She cannot find cat food or their cat, the cat food that she normally buys.
Yes, that's right. There we go. There we go. She can't find the brand she's after. Why? Because she buys the cheap shit or whatever, or she buys it in giant bulk, and so does everybody else. She buys the most popular brand.
So she was very upset about that. So she posted a photo of that, and I was like, oh, that's too bad. You know, cat food. You're not a fan of cats. I like cats, but I know you don't. But anyway, that's beside the point.
Well,
It's nice to see their personalities coming out in this situation. Like, this is and by the way, usually it's Debbie that says the horribly racist shit. So maybe Dinesh will get a chance to call for sort of the genocide of dozens. Oh, thank you, Eric, for that. Call for the genocide of a certain kind of cats, you know, or certain pets.
I'm pretty sure the cats are very temperamental and very particular about their cuisine. It's a little bit like...
Yeah, they cuisine. Yeah, they're very temperamental about they cuisine. Because that's how you say it. That's how you pronounce cuisine. I'm sorry, what was it again?
The cats are very temperamental and very particular about their cuisine. It's a little bit like their favorite restaurant.
How do you fuck up cuisine? How do you fuck up the word cuisine? Their cuisine, not they cuisine. What is happening? What is this? What's going? Are they huffing the same nootropics that Trump takes?
Restaurant is now closed, and they're like,
oh yeah, where's my food? So that was bad. But then I started seeing more friends talk about how they couldn't find dog food and other types of pet food
from the same fucking brand that's out everywhere else. Why? Because of hoarding in the East Coast because of a snowstorm. What do you fucking know?
And I was like, what, this would be a really interesting segment to do.
Yeah, and yet it isn't.
So on my Facebook, and it's my personal Facebook page. It's not a public. And but I said, hey guys, if you have pet food shortages in your local grocery store, can you take a photo of your shelf?
Yeah, just go down. Just sent the army out, right?
And so many people sent in photos. I could not possibly.
Oh my God! Of the one segment there where everything else they got plenty of it, right? Keep showing the pictures.
All of them on, and I'm going to show you some of these photos.
The cheapest stuff, the stuff that was on sale. Is there a reason why they're not showing the whole shelf? I mean, empty shelves is one thing. Empty segments of shelves, that's the issue with a certain corporation or a certain company that can't get the materials to make their pet food. Now, either because those things they're using them to make are cheap and therefore everybody buys them quickly, or they're really expensive and so they get bought out because there's not a lot of them to start with. Yeah, so we're talking about high end or the absolute bottom end. The shelves are full of middle level stuff. Yeah, where are you getting these picks? Right. And by the way, the $9, what are these? The cases?
The podcast, if you watch it on
oh, it's terrible. Look at that at the same place.
Rumble or YouTube.
Yeah.
But
same store. One store.
A lot of them. And
they all shop. Wait a minute. Is that Walmart? Where the fuck is that from? Yeah, exactly. You could get a case of actual tuna cheaper.
People started weighing in on, it's not just pet food. It's not just, cat food, dog food. I can't find cold medicine. I can't find
Let me guess. In red districts, where people are not getting vaccinated, they are refusing to get tested for Omicron, and they are buying up all the cold stuff because they got a weird cough or a weird head cold that won't go away. By the way, here's the lozenges. The Ricolas are all good. You got plenty of those. This stuff over here's...
paper. I can't find this. I can't find that. And so they...
Yeah, so you ask for anecdotal stuff without going, hey, got any pictures of really full shelves? Take pictures of, if you'd ask the question, what stores are out of stuff, what stores have stuff? Can you show me which stores have full stuff? Because just going to the empty shelves, then they're self-selecting out anything else on these giant full shelves. Like this asshole. This stuff. I'll just crop the shot. Here, I'm sorry. Here, there you go. Oh my God. Look at this. Look at that picture. Fucking hell. It's terrible. Look at all this. Look how it's terrible. Pet World manager Dan Laval shows off empty shelves of certain cat foods. This is December 16th. Containers offloaded. Dog and cat owners seek alternatives for Fido and Mittens because of food shortages. Meow Mix. Dog, cat owners seek alternatives for Fido and Mittens because of food shortages. There it is. Same thing. What's causing... Cape Cod Times loves this fucking picture. They just use it over and over again. What's causing the pet food shortage? Courtney Hardy, manager of Pet Supplies Plus in Natick, said distributors have told them there are several issues leading to the shortage. A lot of pet food comes from overseas, and they're getting held up at customs. Even then, a lot of manufacturers aren't able to get to what they need because to can the food because of a nationwide aluminum shortage that is also affecting the beer industry. So if you're a lonely person with a pet who drinks a lot of beer, you're in trouble. There is also a shortage of drivers to deliver products. Why would there be a shortage of drivers? Oh yeah, because we're near full employment. And we've been stiff-arming immigrants for a long time. For 4 years. We have a 4-year backup of stiff-arming immigrants who want to come here. And several of the jobs they have are working at meatpacking plants, canning facilities, and driving. When will they be back? Don't expect the shortage to get better anytime soon, says Dan Laval. That's the dude in the picture at Pet World. He said distributors expect to continue for at least a couple more months. It's been a challenge for the past couple months. It could take some time into the first quarter of next year before the canned food is back. Manufacturers do a run on some foods that are popular and stop making it so they can make other products. And then they try to keep selling SKUs, barcode numbers, best-selling SKUs available. But right. It's not just pet stores. We're experiencing supply issues with pet food products. Transitioning to a new pet food. The key for transition is really a 7-day process. Mix in some of the existing food into the new food each day. This is how to get your cats and dogs to get a rotational diet. Helps them not get stuck on one food. It's healthier for them. Oh my God. Dear God.
Sending photos of that as well. And so it is just, it's crazy because it reminds me so much of when my aunt, she's like my grandmother, but my aunt in Venezuela.
Get your story straight.
Tell me, Debbie, I cannot find toilet paper in the grocery store. I can't find milk. I can't find chicken.
Yeah. But you're talking about it like it reminds you of this, except I can't find the brand of milk. There's other milks. There's lots of other milks. But I buy this one brand and they don't have that kind of milk. There's lots of toilet paper, but I like the single ply for the guest room, except where in our media room where we have the quadruple ply for investors in case they, come over, watch the movie, get sick in the middle and ruin the bathroom.
To go from one grocery store to another, just to find food for the day. And I thought that was just so foreign. I couldn't even grasp.
I can't even grasp that. I still can't because it's there. There's lots of it. It's overwhelming. But that one brand I like is the one that's fucking hell. Yeah, she uses half ply.
I mean, what I found strange from you telling me this was that it seemed initially that she...
Why does he keep gripping her arm? I mean, it's his wife, but that's new and weird. All right.
Kind of accepted it and just thought it was part of the normal hassle of life. She almost became kind of habituated to it until
she realized, wow, she hadn't been through a pandemic, a worldwide pandemic when this shit happened. It was caused by the government, as opposed to a situation where we've just been through a fucking pandemic. But let's just pretend 2020 and 2021 never fucking happened. That it was all an illusion. We all just woke up today. We fell asleep in 2019, woke up now, and we're just starting from scratch.
Shortages became more chronic, became more severe. The one place that she used to go to buy milk no longer had milk. And so that's when you find yourself in socialism. The phrase made in socialism.
Made in socialism. And
that's not a phrase. That isn't a phrase. Made in socialism isn't a phrase. He just made that up. Oh, God.
For people that don't know what socialism is like, if these shortages become the common play, then you will most certainly feel it.
Now, back to the
Okay, what? First of all, become commonplace. Not become the common play. Become commonplace. Common to every place you go. Therefore commonplace. Not the common, I don't know what the fuck that is. And it's like they cuisine. I don't understand. All right. Also, just because you're short of shit doesn't mean you're in socialism. You could run out of things in any system. This is what socialism feels like. I mean, it's not, but this is what it feels like. Well, if it doesn't feel like that, then the fuck is the difference? It's just like, do you think people in like socialist countries with bare shelves are going, this is what communism felt like, or this is what capitalism feels like when they're low on shit? What the fuck?
It says apparently because of loneliness due to COVID, more people have pets. So there's been an increase of pet ownership in America.
Oh, so it's a demand problem. So shut the fuck up.
The last 2 years. Interesting, right?
That's really interesting.
So apparently
that is interesting. What do you mean? So you mean the demand for cat food and dog food has gone up and people have new pets where they tend to buy the specific brands because they haven't figured out how to the only kind of, oh my God.
it's caused a demand for pet food. But look, this is not an explanation of anything. Why? Because normally markets work, right? People want more pet food. Pet food companies make more pet food. Truckers bring the pet food. You can buy it in Walmart. You can buy it somewhere else. So what is happening is we're seeing as a consequence, I think, of Biden incompetence, COVID restrictions, obviously truckers and other people rebelling against the forced vaccine.
Yes, you can't get cat food in the United States because Canadian truckers don't want to get vaccinated. What? You can't get horse meat dog food from Mexico because Canadian truckers are protesting on the street.
So the combination of factors is disrupting what they call the supply chain.
Everything. And I also read in one Newsweek that there's baby formula, cream cheese, aluminum, chicken tenders, Lunchables, toilet paper, champagne.
Yeah, foreign foodstuffs. Buy American, you anti-patriotic assholes.
Here, there's all kinds of shortages for all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, you can get fucking, you could literally, I just bought cottage cheese today. I literally got 2 different brands because I was trying one that has probiotics in it and one that doesn't. And fucking, what kind of narrow, like, but you don't understand. I only buy kind of shopping you do Lunchables and champagne. Right?
Again, they were.
What kind of psycho childish are these two into? Like adult diaper parties where they just get hammered on high-end champagne, eat Lunchables, and spank each other? What the hell is this? Thanks, Melissa.
This woman here, Courier Journal. She's a chef.
The Courier Journal is in my original home state of Kentucky. I believe if it's she didn't say Louisville or Lexington. We'll see.
Barn 8 at Heritage Farm. And she was basically saying the supply chain is broken down. They can't get
oh my God.
corn from the farmers to feed the chickens. They can't get staff to run the farms. They can't find an appointment to get the chickens slaughtered. There are not enough people to.
Oh my God. Wednesday is no good for me. When's a good appointment day for me to get my chickens slaughtered? Yes, just bullshit. And again, anecdotal horseshit. But I just bought chicken breasts too today. Like,
Drive the trucks and on it goes.
Well,
oh my God, socialism, it's terrible. Why? When are we going to have a true capitalist system where we put a a gun to the head of these lazy teenagers and make them drive a truckload of chickens to get their heads cut off. What the hell?
Another
I am
factor
not
that I don't think we've mentioned yet.
Oh, all right, I got called out. God damn it. Hang on a second. You're in big trouble. Wait right there. Literally at the grocery today, 2 things of cottage cheese. Look at this. What did I say? What did I say? Two brands of cottage cheese, just to see. This is Good Culture, the Nancy's Probiotic and the Good Culture, and chicken breasts. Look at this. And then I got some uncooked ones too. You sons of bitches, don't even front. Today I got these at the grocery store for not the Starbucks specific. Oh. All right, I'm back. I'm sorry. I had to put stuff away, and then Summer was to have a whole conversation about stuff. I'm not, these assholes are going to bring up exactly what we're talking about. I'm going to spack. Did I get cat food? We have plenty of cat food. I didn't have to. Although Summer did inform me that they were out of oat milk at Starbucks. And we were, of course, living through the great oat milk blight of 2022. I mean, fuck you, Grandma, and your Dust Bowl whining. I know what real pain is. I need to bring Summer down. We can sit in front of an IKEA desk in our media room and talk about how long it took for our lawn furniture to get during a fucking pandemic. How do you milk an oat? You have to have really small fingers. Yeah, it's Aunt Grandma to you. Good point. All right, sorry. Let's go.
That in a COVID environment where you're sending people checks and people are collecting unemployment at a level that matches what
that's been over since September, fucko.
They could get paid.
Why would they work?
Why would they work?
Yeah.
And so
Yeah. I mean, that's been over for months. I suppose so they can eat and not get chucked out on the street, I think, is the primary thing.
So-called
Also, Americans are lazy, especially the poor ones. Meanwhile, they can't get chairs for their media room, champagne and Lunchables. The fucking nerve of these two is amazing.
Shortage. Again, under capitalism, there's a real solution to all this. Markets normally communicate information. That information sets prices. That information dictates how...
That's exactly what's fucking happening. But you know what capitalism and socialism and communism and Sparksism can't do? Fabricate material goods out of nowhere. Process goods out of raw materials into the perishables you enjoy without a human being or a factory in the middle. No one can. It's no one's fault. It is literally just reality. which obviously these two, considering their clothing, have a difficulty grasping.
Rolls of toilet paper need to be delivered to this particular Kroger or that particular Giant. This is what is breaking down. And by the way, it officially breaks down under socialism. Why? Because you don't have markets. You don't have.
Again, what the fuck does this have to do with what we're doing? We don't have socialism right now. None of this is socialism. Is he making the case that back in September, when people still had extended UI, which a bunch of the state, I don't think, are they in Florida or Texas? They're in one of these states. They stopped it earlier than that. 1,000 people in the chat. Hooray! If you feel like supporting $10 in the chat is a great way, or any denomination of 1,000 is great, or anything even looks remotely like 1,000, feel free to Venmo or Super Chat to support the show. Yay! But 1,000 people in the chat. And she's very excited that we're paying this much attention. He's also grasping her a lot. It's the whole conversation about shortages. Is that, you guys have watched me deal with these two idiots before. Does this seem like a weird thing? Like he's clinging to her because he's lost in this conversation. Please bail me out here and bring up Venezuela or some shit.
You have some central committee who goes, well, we think we need so many cars next year. We think we need so many computers next year.
And that none of that is happening. The fuck is your point?
And so you have some guy who is in no position to know, has no idea what's going on, might be running some data analysis, basically making wild projections. So this is how the temporary craziness that we're living under Biden.
What the fuck are you talking about? The temporary craziness we're living under Biden, which is market forces dealing with shortages in both workers and materials in a lot of different fronts, still managing to stock the shit out of your stores, you lazy, privileged prick. It's fucking, we can't get our media chairs, the ones that recline, and they're on the truck now and they'll be here by Monday, but Jesus Christ. It's like living through the 30s. I feel like I'm in a Hoover town. Shit.
And a pilot. This is sort of like an airline where they don't even have the peanuts.
Well, let's just hope.
Yeah, it's exactly like that. You're still in a fucking plane flying to your destination. Yeah, but without peanuts, I might as well be in the Donner Party walking through the pass. Get fucked, you clown.
We don't crash.
Exactly.
Wait, that's it? Let's hope we don't crash. Exactly. Ba-boom! Honest to God. Just the laziest, stupidest. I spoke too soon. By the way, you're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide, where I watch these things with you, so you don't have to watch them alone or at all by yourself. And prove to you that the tiger has no teeth. This is absolutely a fearless viewing of everything, including Bongholio here, who is now stealing talking points from Glenn Beck. Like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, especially if you're a troll, give us a thumbs down, write something, marginally hateful. Don't use any racial epithets because that stuff will get broomed. We want your stuff to stay up so that we can laugh at it. And also because it lets the YouTube gods know that, and the Twitch gods know that I'm popular. So, yes, Bongholio, who is looking for teepee for his bunghole. The World Economic Forum, Great Reset idea, Nasara Jasara, but the bad version, which, by the way, is something I don't know that we've addressed enough in the past. But so the Qs all believe in a, let's see, where's a good yeah, hold on. It's a bunch of a lot of the like tweets about shit have been broomed. Yeah, I'll find it. Hold on. I know what I'll do. I'll go on. It'll be on Twitter. Because God knows there's plenty of Jassara lunatics on there. But it's basically like, to them, that's the good reset. Here you go. This is it. 172 countries in the world, is the owner and administrator of the World Account, World Bank, 180 accounts in the world, where all these people come voting. Okay, this is an ad. Jassara will be happening. Some chatter about this. Okay, hold on. President Trump said of America. Did you see that? Jassara flashed across the bottom of the screen. Newton de Berber. Dude, what do you mean flashed across? Asshole, look at this. Did you see that? Jassara flashed across the bottom of the screen. Somebody donated on RSBN under the name Nasara Jassara. It didn't flash, dumb fuck. Did you guys see that? Nevada Dan flashed across the bottom of the screen. Newsworthy also did, which is even more ironic under there. On the phone with Linwood, epic interview. Is Biden really the president? Yes, he is, just for the record. Here you go. We can find it. If this doesn't tell you Jassara is real, then you need a set of goggles. Look at this. We see the potential for digital precious metals, but gold is the decentralized financial underlying assets, physically backed token makes sense, blockchain, blah, blah, blah. Can't see this. On Stellar, you can issue your own assets, allows you to create redeemable, tradable NFTs. The Indonesian government's planning to launch a blockchain-based precious metals backed payments. This is the whole thing. It's starting from scratch. If you can't see it, you're dumb. Okay, so that's the Q version of the Great Reset. They've been arguing for it, zeroing it out, everything. Nobody owns anything. Back to scratch. I guess they will leg wrestle for who owns your house, because they're gonna, they're gonna eliminate everything. And this has been a talking point. Oh, thank you, Lisa. On his, on Glenn Beck's show for a long time. So.
That every time the Democrats have a crisis, the fix they propose always seems to attack our pillars of Western culture. Why do Democrats seem obsessed with tearing down things like family and religion? These are good things, right?
They don't. You realize Biden is a Catholic widower who remarried and is still with the woman he remarried to, with multiple children, and they don't have any plans to destroy the. Now, granted, the Matt Gaetzes of the world aren't big on the nuclear family. I guess. I mean, you'd have to ask Nestor that question. And insofar as religion, not relying on it for your moral direction is one thing, whereas pretending you're religious or pretending you're a Christian and selling something that's the exact opposite, I think goes further towards destroying religion than actually just avoiding it altogether. The devil does more to support religion and its existence because he's part and parcel to the entire experience than somebody who's just abdicates any kind of interest in it.
Because it's all part of what they call the Great Reset.
No, the World Economic Forum's Great Reset has nothing to do with what you think are social impacting programs around disintegrating the nuclear family. So, well, let's see. Let's see where his take is.
Folks, the left can't stand...
Folks, they hate it. Look at all this stuff that isn't winning at all costs. Yeah, because I would put Antifa and the Democratic Party and gay rights and the black... I mean, these are all awful things. Up with fund the police.
They hate what we stand for. They hate that this country is...
Well, yeah, you don't stand for any of, you actually stand for attack the police, for the record.
Built on objective truths. They hate that your big R, God-given...
by the way, objective truths, not objective truths, which would be something else entirely.
Is built on objective truths. They hate that your big R, God-given rights exist. But you already know that.
Oh, big R God-given rights. But I already know that. I know that. Yeah. My God-given right to own a howitzer and or have an AR-15 modded to fully automatic with two 30-round magazines duct taped together in case a neighbor's kid sneaks out for the night and is sneaking into his back into his house after his parents have gone to bed, so I can mistake him for an intruder and execute the entire family by firing through the wall.
The answer is, why do they hate these things? And it's found in what they call the Great Reset. It's because...
Hold on. We have an expert on the Great Reset, I think. Damn straight, man. I know a lot about the Great Resentment. The Great Resentment. Tell me all about it. Come on.
You are in their way.
Oh.
So what's the Great...
Am I in their way? I'm sorry. I apologize. I was just holding the door for you. I was a greeter at Walmart for 3 weeks until the information on my background check came through.
Said, the World Economic Forum is a globalist organization of self-professed elites. The founder and
do they call themselves elites? Is that all it takes? Shit, I'm gonna call myself an elite then. Come on now. I am an elite. A-L-E-E-T. That I'm an elite, some bitch. Come on.
And is Klaus Schwab, who lived...
Oh my God, look at that guy, fella. He looks like he just stared into the Ark of the Covenant. It's beautiful. And then it's and then pow. Don't do that, man. You look like Carl Reiner and Dead Men Don't Wear Plaid. I love it.
He wrote the book COVID-19, The Great Reset, and made it a focal point of his summit in Switzerland in 2020. If you want to read up on the Great...
Is he probably a Democrat. He's probably one of them, the worst kind. He's probably one of them German National Socialist Democrats, if you know what I'm saying. And I'm glad we're here to call out them fellas, because I saw a bunch of them marching in Orlando with a Tibetan symbol on their arm run backwards. And that's bad luck. I don't know if you know that. Anytime you take a Tibetan symbol, I read this in a pamphlet on a Greyhound bus that I woke up on. I don't even know how. Anyways, I was on there and I read this thing. And anytime you take it, there's a lady, she was selling charms and trinkets and like this one necklace that you could wear. And she even had one of those things where you put it in your butt and it looks like a tail. Either way, it works. And you use one of those things. And she was warning you, don't ever take a Tibetan symbol and invert it, because you'll be in, that's bad luck. You'll lose wars, she said. She's been right so far.
Said there's an entire page on their website dedicated to how they want to.
See, that's how they get it. The greatest secrets are hidden out in the open where you can read all about them. So that only people that can read know what's going on. I get you.
Start over with year zero. But listen, don't take my word for it.
Yeah, that's we're going back to Jesus' birthday. Oh, say Jesus sings. That's good stuff, man.
We always bring receipts here. Here's Schwab singing the praises of Communist President Xi Jinping of China.
Okay, if he's not actually singing, I'm going to be very disappointed.
Summit last year.
Polarization has created the age of disagreement, which threatens.
I got to say something. This dude talking just makes me nervous. Like, I feel like my grandpappy's going to just, like, jump out of a grave and want to punch him in his fucking knob.
To derail humanity. Now, we must come together to ensure that we capture the moment and move into the age of collaboration to build a better world. Mr. President.
Okay, first of all, that sounds terrible. That is a bunch of shit. Holy hell, what the hell is this nonsense? Who's putting this diatribe? Message from the Queen that says the United States on my later in the future, reason here, nominated president. What a bunch of shit that is. You can't dump a bunch of fucking, like, just do a link to your goddamn novel on here. Somebody writing his fucking, what kind of bullshit magoo is going on in there?
I believe this is the best time to reset our policies and to work jointly for a peaceful and prosperous world.
Hold on. Where was he congratulating Xi Jinping? All he said is just we should reset and start policy restart. Does he mean like our policy to have gold-backed American silver certificates? That would mean, right? I can walk. Yeah, that's what he said. Hold on. Back the fuck up. Did I miss the Xi Jinping shit? Wait a second.
For it. We always bring receipts here. Here's Schwab singing the praises of Communist President Xi Jinping of China at his summit last year.
Very exciting. Okay, here it comes.
Polarization has created the age of disagreement, which threatens to derail humanity.
Okay.
Now, we must come together to ensure that we capture the moment and move into the age of collaboration to build a better world. Mr. President, I believe this is the best time to reset our policies and to work jointly for a peaceful and prosperous world.
Dude, I'd look mad too if my director in the booth played the wrong fucking clip. You got that shit, I thought you was gonna play something else look on your fucking face. Dude, I'll be pissed, man. Make a phone call. Just walk off set. You should do it. Walk off set right now. He didn't even mention Xi Jinping. Come on, man. You were gonna walk off because that company that wanted to kick you to the curb was making you get a jab when you weren't gonna be an employee of the company anyways, and they were already letting you go, and now what happened? Shit, dude. Look how pissed he is. He's, oh man. He didn't even say the dude's name.
So what does this have to do with Democrats? Because
yeah, first of all, no, don't even go there. What the fuck does it have to do with Xi Jinping? I didn't see shit. Right? Did you? Dude, run back and play that. Did you watch the same shit we did? Come on, man. I may not read worth the fuck, but I can watch the shit out of something. Dude, let me tell you something. I'm good at watching stuff. Ask any neighbor who's ever had a hole in their fence. Tell you what.
In order to reset the world, liberals must first get rid of the old one.
Oh, I see. Yeah, that's how? No, I'm serious. How? He'll tell us. Shit, I'm sorry. Go ahead, man. So they got to get rid of the old world, eliminate it entirely, stop teaching history, don't tell anything that's going on ever. Just start at year zero, okay? Everybody just forget what you knew, like them giant mudslides. Remember that was the first Great Reset. This is the second one. Y'all know about that, right? The Great Mudslide, slide history, something shit like that. The story of where is it? There's a whole conspiracy thing, where they started shit over again. Here you go. Come on now. Here you go. That's what's up. Let me show you something else. In here, they got this, get this shit out the way. You got these old ads and shit. Inside the Tartarian Empire, the QAnon architecture, they did this thing where they used to have all these these buildings, everything was all big, and then these mud came through and buried every fucking thing. That ain't the right thing. What they showing? See, Capitol's over there, proves me, same building everywhere. That's instead of it being uniform. This is all that. There used to be an empire that built all these domes, and then everything else was buried under the dirt, and only the dome survived. Or some shit. Hold on, I'll find it. Settle the fuck down. There it is. I found it. The mud flood conspiracy, which, man, that sounds like something. There you go, mud flood conspiracy. This is what they think happened. Remember the older people, there we go, that they flooded the whole thing, that this is the real world and we built on top of it. Yeah, we ain't got no good trolls. I don't know why. They ain't all studied up. Here you go. Anyways, this is the second great reset. We originally did the big reset. Here we go.
That's why they constantly attack religion and family. The real power struggle here, folks, is between objective truths and the absolute power of the state. The family...
Well, much as I am a man of faith, faith is the opposite of objective truth. That's not the point. You don't grow from knowing what's what. You grow from knowing what might be, you dumb son of a bitch. Anybody knows gravity's real, but behaving yourself because the Lord might be watching takes some emotional, intellectual, philosophical, and soulful strength. Because it ain't concrete, you stupid son of a bitch.
Religion or competition for the state and the left. And there's nothing they hate more than competition and a meritocracy. Let's start with religion.
How come they keep winning the elections then?
For centuries, but especially in America, religion's been the bedrock of society. Here's Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, especially the ISIS caliphate. Man, if there's a single society on the planet right now that cannot do without its religion, it's fucking caliphates, man. There's nowhere to unshackle it. I mean, we obviously got our separation of the church and the state, so the good of each can intermingle, but the bad of each can stay the fuck away. But, I mean, if you're really talking about something that'll, the bedrock of a society, ISIS caliphate is not going to decouple anytime soon.
Explaining exactly...
Yeah, fuck off. I know like 4 big words. Ease up.
To Joe Rogan.
Categories dissolve.
Why is the waiter being interviewed? Fuck, they'll interview anybody on this.
Especially fundamental ones.
How did a Canadian maitre d' end up starring in a television show?
Culture is dissolving because the culture is a structure of category. Roughly speaking, we have a bedrock of agreement. That's the Bible, by the way. It's that the Bible is the precondition for the manifestation of truth, which makes it way more true than just true. It's a whole different kind of truth.
In short,
Man, does Joe Rogan hotbox everybody that comes into that studio? Son of a bitch. We once blew some smoke in my dog's face and made him sound something like that. I don't know if he was really doing that, because I'd licked this stamp that had Mickey Mouse on it, and I was fucked up for a month and a half.
Objective truths from religion.
Hey, Kelly, thanks for fake trolling. It's nice. We need all the help we can get in this place.
It's competition for the state, so Democrats have to attack it at every opportunity. Again, they want to wipe out the competition.
Christians, of all people, are supposed to be particularly worried about their neighbors, and this is also a really critical situation where if you're not vaccinated, you may be the one spreading this virus.
A subset of Christians who support Trump who believe that God had a very specific...
Hang the fuck out. Subset? You mean a smaller section of a larger group that is somehow blameless in this circumstance in general, but this subset might be a problem, but the rest of them are okay? As opposed to like baby Jesus out with the bathwater, like this dumb fuck is saying?
Call on his life. It's breeding this degree of fanaticism, this degree of religious fanaticism that I think could have real danger.
Because let's face it, Republicans, this is not really the face that best reflects your party's values. This is.
Yeah, that's actually holding up Christ to a higher standard, Magoo.
Remember?
He looks very upset. Largely because he does not understand what he has just seen. This will be the, if I'm keeping track and I can count to 2, I just use my teeth. I don't even have to get into my hands and toes. Come on now. This is the second video this son of a bitch put up, and he's going to tell us something else was in it.
In 2012, when Democrats took a vote to reintroduce the word God in the language of their platform, it barely passed. Listen to the boos.
The motion is adopted, and the platform has been amended as shown on.
Yeah, so the majority won out over the loud minority in a particular group. Huh. Go figure.
Screen. Thank you very much.
Then there's the nuclear family. We all think.
Yeah, by the way, you do realize y'all motherfuckers just booed Trump.
Good thing, right? With religion? No, not for the left. This is a big hurdle for the Marxists to install the Great Reset. They got to get past that. Your kids? Well, they don't belong to you. They belong to the state, according to these Marxists. Here are just a couple of headlines to prove it. See at the Washington Post and CNN. An unlikely.
Oh, dear God. Not opinion pieces. Don't fall into the nuclear family parent trap. What kids need most is love. What a terrible thought. An unlikely cause of our bitterness, the nuclear family. Opinion by Robert Samuelson. The nuclear family was a mistake, David Brooks. Wait a minute. Hold on a second. David Brooks. Hold on. Who's David Brooks? He's let's see. Tell me something about who's that dude? PBS NewsHour commentator. Oh, here you go. Here he is. I found him on Wikipedia. Here it is. David Brooks is hang the fuck out. A conservative political and cultural commentator who writes for the New York Times. He's a what now? Excuse me. He's a far-left Marxist. March 2020, the nuclear family was a mistake. Hold on. I got to bring in a reader. Give me a second. I got to look at this. The nuclear family was a mistake. David Brooks wrote, here it is, the nuclear family. The family structure we've held up as a cultural idea for the past half century has been a catastrophe for many. It's time to figure out better ways to live together. The scene, which they're doing, dozens of celebrating siblings, cousins, great aunts, the grandparents telling the old life stories. Oh yeah, this is a conservative arguing that grandparents should be more prevalent. He's making the case that you shouldn't be isolated in your nuclear family. The nuclear family should be the spread point from which you are contacting your cousins and all your greater family, that you shouldn't just slice it off from the rest of the family. The oldster starts squabbling about whose memory is better. It was cold that day. One says after the meal. This particular family is one depicted in Barry Levinson's 1990 film Avalon, based on his childhood in Baltimore. 5 brothers came to America from Eastern Europe at the time of the Cold War, built a wallpaper business. For a while, they did everything together, like in the old country. But as the movie goes along, the extended family begins to split apart. Some members move to the suburbs for more privacy and space. One leaves for a job in a different state. The big blow-up comes over something that's trivial, but isn't. It seems trivial, but isn't. The eldest of the brothers arrives late to a Thanksgiving dinner to find the family has begun the meal without him. You cut the turkey without me, your own flesh and blood. You cut the turkey. The pace of life is speeding up as the years go by in the movie. Okay, in my childhood, you'd rather go around to the grandparents and they would tell family stories. Now individuals sit around a TV watching others' family stories. The main theme of Avalon. That's what he's not talking about getting rid of the nuclear family, you dumb fuck. He's talking about extending the nuclear family and attaching it to the rest of your family. That dude's a conservative, you dipshit. Let me just show you some fucking hell. Parenting young kids is exhausting. Should we rethink the nuclear family? That's because grandparents are around to watch the kid. They don't consider that part of the nuclear family. It still is. Jesus Christ. Should we rethink the nuclear family? Because you have aunts and uncles. Nobody lives in a nuclear family except fucking Don Jr. And then they've got 2 nuclear bombs cut in half. Explains the attack on pillars of Western culture. What are you talking about? You think Irish Catholics had a nuclear family when they came over here? Or Eastern Europeans? That's what the fucking story he's talking about is about. Like, they've got a black family playing in a dollhouse right here from the 70s for the picture, but he's talking about the movie Avalon. And the people in Avalon, let's see, are Baltimore Five from Eastern Europe at the time of World War I. What the fuck are you talking about? They're not talking about getting rid of it. They're talking about attaching to more of your family. Oh, God, this is lazy.
Because of our bitterness, the nuclear family. These are real headlines. They can't stand this. It's in their way. You can see these.
It's not in their way. They're saying there's more to life than just the parents and the kids and neighbors. Distancing yourself from from the grandparents or the other parents or cousins or any of that kind of stuff is a narrow way to view family. That's what they're talking about. Fucking hell.
Lines right there. The left is dedicated to using every...
And again, that David Brooks... What the... hold on one second. Let's see. An unlikely cause of our bitterness. Unlikely cause of our bitterness. The nuclear family. And it's an opinion from Robert Samuelson. 2 weeks economics writer. He used to write for Washington Post all the time. He was a columnist for Newsweek from 84 to 2011. And he just wrote this in. This is his thing. Okay. When the history of our era is written, scholars will search for larger causes of bitterness and contradictions. Was it globalization, populism, and a powerful lesson for the Atlantic nuclear family was a mistake. New York Times' David Brooks argues that the family structure we've held up is a cultural ideal for by nuclear family, he means a married mother and father and some kids. The alternative arrangement was the extended family, which included not only mom, dad, children, but also relatives, cousins, aunts, uncles. Well, that's exactly what I was fucking saying. Okay. The great defect of the nuclear family, Brooks asserts, is if there's a crisis, okay, people can increasingly go their way. The birth control, as Brooks sees it, okay, he's writing about that. What's your point? It's just rewriting the thing. Children have it worse. Brooks cites avalanche of statistics. In 1960, 5% were born to an unmarried woman. Now that's about 40%. 1960, 11%. Okay. But adult men and women have their share of troubles. Vicious circle. Brooks says, he's just what the fuck? He's just rewriting. Brooks finds both liberals and it's the same article. It's the same opinion rewritten. Larger. Read more from his archive. So Brooks did the article in the Atlantic, and this dude wrote an article about that article in the fucking Washington Post. Ugh. 50% of the articles that I just looked at, 25% of the articles on there reference the other 25%. And the rest of them are arguing. The rest of them, by the way, are arguing for more family connection.
To tear our nuclear family apart.
He's just fucking dumb. No, to support the nuclear family so that the nuclear family isn't floating alone like some detached atom, you prick.
Do this, they create a divide between the children and their old and outdated parents. So that the
yeah. Oh, yeah, fucking hippies.
Kids will voluntarily dissociate with their family values while the state's in complete control of their education. They hate competition. And once you see this, and once you recognize it, you'll see it everywhere. You can't...
Media attacks idea of the nuclear family. And by the way, none of these are attacks on the nuclear family except its isolation. That's it. All these are about the separation of the nuclear family from the rest of the family. Look at that, JMC.
It's in the BLM movement, the LGBTQ activist movement.
Yeah, geez. People who've been kicked out by their parents for being gay, who managed to find a partner and then have their own or adopt some kids. Fucking monsters, am I right? People who had no choice but to be kicked out by their nuclear family, make another nuclear family and then connect to a greater family, and somehow they're the bad guys? Good Lord.
Education and politics.
Progress. It's the reason that your grandparents' views are better not spoken in public.
People who have been cast adrift.
You gonna play the rest of it? You gonna play the rest of that, John? No.
By the breakdown of the nuclear family, they've lost touch with one or both parents, and they're sort of floating, and they come together and say, you know, we'll be a family together.
A school in New York City
So that's bad? People who are disassociated from their families making families? What the fuck do you think immigrants did? People came over to the United States pre-1930 especially, and never saw their extended family again. Never.
Itself, after telling students not to say words like mom and dad, apparently they think it could be offensive. Instead of mom,
it's a fucking private school. Who cares? That's market talk. That is not the government. That is not social policy in the United States. Private organizations can do whatever the fuck they want, I thought. Whatever happened to business sovereignty? Grace Church Schools Inclusionary Glossary. Oh, dear God.
Dad, say grown-ups, folks, or family.
Yeah, you stopped the bill that I don't think parents should be telling schools what they should teach.
The Chicago's teachers.
Okay, and they're not going to play the rest of that clip entirely. Okay, Chicago's Teachers Union don't want to go die in school. Right, that's the next one.
It's Chicago Teachers Union saying out loud, by the way, that your kids belong to them. We see it. It's
no, because when they're with you, the kids are getting everything from their teachers, not just the language there, but their behavior, how they address the other students, how they perform and behave in public. Your kids are taking stuff from teachers the same way they do from parents, and they're in their presence. Especially when you get up higher in high school, if you've got extra programs and, sports as well as extended programs, or in my case, detention, you're spending so much time in this, with those people that they are effectively in the parental window. But treating them like they're your kids because when we teach, they're in their care. If something happens to them, that teacher goes to jail or, just as if they were an abusive parent. Again, this is but please, thousands of our members are CPS parents. To other parents and guardians of the city, we want you to know that when we put our children in our care, we put their well-being and safety first. We fight for your children like their own because when we teach, they are. Yes, their well-being and safety is their responsibility. They have an ability to respond the parents don't have. But please overreact. Good Lord. Yes, in local parenting.
They're telling us who they are. Believe them. And here's Education Secretary Miguel Cardona echoing the World Economic Forum's talking points just days ago.
We can't lose this moment. This chance for a reset in education by going back to the same pre-pandemic strategies that didn't address inequities.
Listen, I get it. They're a skeptic.
You do? You get that there were inequities before the pandemic, and I know you didn't give a fuck, and Trump didn't give a fuck, but now the kids are going back to school, and you're like, ventilation and lead pipes are being changed, for example. Those kind of inequities are being, removed. You'd rather leave those? I mean, how are these kids going to bootstrap themselves if they don't feel hunger pangs?
Who could possibly doubt what I'm telling you is true, despite the evidence being everywhere? So how do I know we're right here? I just listen to the left, especially when they tell us, as I just said, exactly what they're doing and what they're going to do. They are who we think they are, like using the pandemic to take your freedoms so that the state can be in charge of giving those said freedoms back to you.
And we have a very narrow window to tie reopening policy to vaccination status. Because otherwise, if everything is reopened, then what's the carrot going to be? How are we going to incentivize people to actually get the vaccine? So that
CDC, vaccinated people should still avoid travel. You know, and CNN medical analyst. She's not setting policy. She's talking about New York specifically and why that she's in Baltimore, I guess. You do realize she's not a Democrat in office or anything. All right, whatever.
I think the CDC and the Biden administration needs to come out a lot bolder and say, if you're vaccinated, you can do all these things. Here are all these freedoms that you have.
Yes, the Biden administration needs to come out. She thinks they need to be bolder, and they aren't doing what Bongino is saying they're doing.
Shit, did you catch it? She says this.
Yes, she says the Biden administration isn't doing it. She thinks they should do these things, and they fucking well aren't. They are not setting that as a national standard for the country.
Grants our freedoms, not by God or anything like that. This is a state thing, is it? But listen, it's not all bad news. Here's one.
Yeah, but you have the ability, you have the constitutional right to travel freely in the United States, for example. You cannot drive through people's driveways or through people's front yards or their driveways or on the sidewalk. You can't run red lights. That does not interfere with your rights because there's a guard on you interfering with other people's rights. Because you are sneaking a toxin into a place. It's like an arsonist. Like setting a fire is not illegal. So why shouldn't I be able to burn down a building? I mean, it's not like I'm in it.
So-called elites themselves at the World Economic Forum a couple of months ago, admitting that most people just don't trust them.
The good news is the elite across the world trust each other more and more, so we can come together and design and do beautiful things together. The bad news is that in every single country they were polling, the majority of people trusted that elite less.
Folks, you know how to tell when
right? So fucking what? I'm gonna go out on a limb here and go, that woman did not sound like a Democrat from the United States. She may have moved. She may have two passports. We don't know.
Conservatives are right over the target with the Great Reset, Year Zero, this war on family and religion. Well, the left, they send out their army of, fake fact checkers to call everyone conspiracy theorists. This is from Reuters just days ago. Look at the quote. Despite repeated misinformation
shared online about the Great Reset, the sustainability plan proposed by the World Economic Forum is not a secret plot to end private property or create a totalitarian state. Okay. Is the word secret the part?
Information being shared online about the Great Reset. This sustainability plan proposed by the World Economic Forum is not a secret plot to end private property or create a totalitarian state. Every single time.
Hey, Sean Hannity here.
Dude, you can't just do that. You got to show the copy of the part of the Great Reset that says it is. You can't just hang that shit out there and go, can you believe they said this? Then you got to follow it up with the clip from the thing. And again, I don't edit these pieces. This is the end of this clip. So if he indeed did, and they edited it out, which I doubt, there's just no fucking way, and I don't feel like going and looking it up because I'm not going to do their homework for them. But if you're going to follow up like this fact check was bullshit, then you got to follow it up with the actual fact that refutes it. No? Anything? I mean, it's bad enough that we watched 3 videos that did not say what he said they said and had nothing to do with, I guess, Democrats wanting this giant financial reset with no private property or any of that kind of shit. And the guy parroting the Great Reset in education going, we can't just go back to school with all the inequities we had before. We have an opportunity to fix those things. God forbid. Like, whatever. or create a totalitarian state. You got to go, oh, no. There, it says right here, page 9 of the Great Reset thing, we would like to end private property and create a totalitarian state. And by the way, people can like shit all they want. It's not going to happen. Yes, I agree. I think that we have to give him today's 5 eggs.
5 eggs.
That's right.
5
It's got to
eggs
be.
in a month.
That's right.
5
He's got
eggs.
to.
Eat 2 eggs a day.
That's
5
right.
eggs.
Or 4 if you include his head.
5 eggs in a month.
Right. So today's 5 eggs. I know I'm giving it away early and there's a lot left to do. But for Pete's sake, what a bunch of garbage. Okay, so this one is more horrifying hidden elements. By the way, this is Housemarque's Mega Worldwide. Like and subscribe, give a thumbs up, enjoy the show, and smile. It's going to be all right. I'm here to diffuse these info bombs that these people throw out, and because they know no one's going to actually call them on their bullshit on their side ever. And they think that when the other side does, they do it in blanket terms like Glenn Beck's full of shit, which he is, but they won't go into specifics, and therefore they can just claim, well, nobody likes me. That's why they're just against us because I'm the good guys and they're the bad guys. So he wants, this is where I go into all this nonsense piece by piece. So this is hidden data from the Fed. By the way, how it was hidden and yet Glenn Beck has it is really the mystery. Glenn Beck, how does he have Fed data that no one on Wall Street or in the news media can get their hands on? Only Glenn Beck can get access to this hidden data that's available on the Fed's website or something. We'll see. All right.
So let me show you exactly what has happened in...
It's Army Man, KFC, Harry Potter, Glenn Beck today. If you're looking for which action figure he's dressed as.
The last year. Gas has risen to $3.32 a gallon.
Dear God, 60 cents less than it was in 2014.
Mortgage rates. Mortgage rates were about 3. The 30-year mortgage interest rate now has risen to 4.6, and that's without the Fed.
Yeah, that's without the Fed. That's just banks, private industries charging what they can get from consumers.
Raising the rate, which they say they're going to do twice or 3 times this year. That is just the banks getting greedy.
Oh, all right. So, sorry, those big lefty banks, those big Democrat-run banks, the banks that have been bailing Trump out for fucking decades when his word and his bond is worth fuck all. But no, it's those socialist enterprises, the banks.
Second quarter GDP growth predicted to be 2.3%. So last year's, a year ago, it was...
By the way, 2.3 year over year. Because we were coming back from COVID, so it was artificially large during the early part of the year because everybody was rushing back to business. So just like inflation numbers, and he's going to start bitching about those in a couple of months because we're going to get to the point where the inflation was at its peak. And when you get the opposite year, when we get to be around the election, for example, inflation's going to look extraordinarily low. And then they're going to start bitching about prices because they think that will make their case, even though the prices are still technically lower than they were 5 or 6 years ago. But either way, all right, we'll get into that.
Projected at 30%. Our growth was 33.1% in the third quarter under Trump. It is now 2.3.
From the collapse, from the previous quarter, not from the year overall. We didn't have 30% growth in 2020, you fucking lunatic.
Inflation is 7% and rising. Now we say that we have...
No, it is not rising. It isn't. That's the year over year number. And we're getting into the zone where year over year, comparatively, it's going to be lower, even if it's higher, because it's year over year. You dumb son of a bitch.
3.5% unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
Does that seem right to you? Do we really only have 3.5% employment? Because that's almost full employment. That means everybody who's looking for a job has a job. And for the very first time, I can say that's true and yet completely misleading.
Well, I mean, those are the worst kind of facts. Completely true and totally misleading. There are more jobs available than there are people on all fronts. Why the fuck do you think automated trucks are catching on? Or automation factories is catching on? And why it's going to be part of this? Yes, I agree. I think there's a tremendous amount of Magoo in this, but I mean, what more could you want? I mean, if this doesn't exemplify Beck's problem with Biden all the time.
As a job. And for the very first time, I can say that's true and yet completely misleading. There are so many jobs available right now, but the government is incentivizing people to stay home. So
no, they aren't. UI ended months ago. I don't know why they keep carrying this. People's wages have gone up in such a way that there is a statistically significant number of people now who can work without their partner having to work or can just start their business. So they can, instead of having that side job, they can go, okay, we have enough to roll on what we got in savings and in what you're making for us to start this other side thing. So they're not getting that extra job, but they also don't need one because they're working from home. Or they're creating like an Etsy store kind of thing. Or they're working part-time at something for a friend. Those kind of jobs. You know, the hustle economy. But that's they might have taken a trucking job if they wanted to be away from everybody. That's the other thing. Is there's a bunch of these jobs that take you away from home. People have been at home so long, they're like, I figured out a way to make money here.
Now, you might be at full employment. But you don't have people working. You're paying them to stay home. How?
Nobody's getting paid to stay fucking home anymore. That's been over for months.
How many fast food restaurants have you been to? How many places have you been to? And they either don't have it, they're closed, they're waiting, they're only open.
All I can picture is Glenn Beck and Dinesh D'Souza in the same fucking car going Taco Bell to Taco Bell to Taco Bell, trying to find one that has where one of them can order through the drive-thru while the other goes in and orders from the counter at the same time.
Hours because they just don't have the people.
Right, because you don't have to work at two of those places to make what you used to make at one of them. You don't have people working multiple shifts at other places because they won't get a full shift at Taco Bell and then go work another full shift at McDonald's because they can make enough that the way they used to work both of those shifts in one shift.
Oil has now hit an 8-year high. We're talking about hitting oil prices of $150 a barrel. I just want you to...
you are? You're talking about it? Are you talking about it? Hold on. Oil per barrel. $100 per barrel is possible. Here you go. $90 oil is only the beginning. The current move in oil prices is largely attributed to geopolitical risk. Oh, yeah. It's fucking Biden's fault. That's what it is. The next major move in oil could be triggered if inventories fall to critical levels. Wall Street's consensus seemed to be that Brent will reach 100 by the summer. But we're talking about 150 because 100 won't fucking do it. By the way, let's see. Glenn, while we're at it, oil prices 2000 to 2021. Let's just see what they are. It's got to be there's a chart, macro trends. Here you go, asshole. Yeah, there's that 82. Remember when we had 82? It was terrible. Look at that. Oh, Lord. $134 a barrel in $1982. And then it was, here's we go. Wait, let's go up to here. Here's $163 a barrel in 2008. And then, of course, it crashed down to $58 a barrel because of this. But it was jacking up, man. Look at this. Just climbing and climbing in the last year of the Bush presidency. Look at this. This is here. Here we are. Where we go? Let's go into here. Yeah, here we go. This be a 2001. Let's go to here. 2001. August 2001. Let's see. Beginning of the Iraq War situation. Tank out on living on resources, and then blah, 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 blah. Hey, look at that. Look where that Afghanistan war was taking us. And then takes a shit and then starts going right back up again. And then it hits 2014. Here's Obama. This is the last 2 years of Obama. Brow. Look at that. Before Trump takes over, $39 a barrel. January 2016. Then we get all the way up in 2018 to $70 a barrel. Then it jags around. And then look at that. Look at it's almost like this year over year number is fucking crazy. And then here we go. Look at this. 2020. $22 a barrel, and then it went down below to the negative point. This is the Brent crude one, I think. Historical chart. And currently it's at 75. And they're like, it could hit 100. So what you're saying is it could be Reagan and Bush numbers. Except it fucking well ain't. And by the way, it was negative $36 a barrel while Trump was president 2020, and he went to Saudi Arabia and told them to cut production to drive the oil price back up so it wouldn't crater the American producers. And then he waited till the price was up to $25 a barrel to fill the national reserves so that he could basically give a free bailout to the oil companies in the United States instead of buying it when people were like, take it off my hands for free. We'll pay you to take it, which is what you would do with an emergency supply, one would think. We're talking about 150? Jesus Christ.
2008, the collapse happened at $130 a barrel. That was the final straw.
Was it? That was the final straw? I'm sorry, did the collapse in, where is it? The collapse in 1980? Oh no. The price collapse that happened in 82 was when we had our worst inflation ever. It was already on its way down when that happened in 82, and it crevased at $34 a barrel in 86. Look at this drop off, ba-boom, in the oil price. And then it went, of course, it jacked back up in 90. It's almost like it's a volatile fuel source from dangerous parts of the world. And by the way, the fucking oil prices did not crevice the 2008 credit default swap collapse. What a goofy idea.
We are now showing that you were paying 49% more for gas, 37% more for used cars, 6% more in electricity, 6% more.
Yeah, there you go. There's the 6% more. So you shave off the gas and used cars, and we've got normal inflation year over year, including the pandemic baked in. Supply chain. Besides gas and used cars, which again, people took their stimmies and bought a used car to upgrade. They bought a new to them car for that was their investment. That was the primary investment that a lot of people made with their stimulus check if they had it left over. I got an $8,000 car. I can get a $12,000 car if I put $2,000 down on it and trade my car in. Let's do it. No time like the present, and they'll drive it to your house and drop it off.
Food, building supplies. You want to know why houses are so expensive? Lumber. Do you remember the beginning and everybody was talking about lumber? How expensive? I just want one sheet of plywood. I can't get a sheet of plywood.
Have you tried Lowe's or Home Depot? P.S. I call bullshit. I can't run and get a sheet of plywood right now and show it to you the way I did with chicken and cottage cheese, but they have plywood, stacks of it, at the Home Depot near me.
Can't get a sheet of plywood. Been waiting on a list.
By the way, that's because he lives in an area where serial killers are soundproofing their basements.
For 2 months. Can't get a sheet of plywood? The price of lumber.
Yes, two months he hasn't been able to get a sheet of plywood.
Not since the beginning of the pandemic, but since September, has risen 45%. That is
what is it since April? It's down from April.
The highest gain since 1947.
Yeah, what's the actual dollar amount versus the percentage amount?
And they're telling you that everything is fine.
No. No one's saying everything is fine. That's the lie that you're putting forward. The idea is that everything that is wrong is part of a hole we dug ourselves into over the course of a few decades, mainly the reliance on China, some of our trade issues, and the material fact of having just lived through through COVID and relying on, in particular, lumber from Canada, which has stronger lockdown rules than we do.
If you look at the way we used to calculate, for instance, unemployment, we're at 3.5. But why does that feel wrong? Because in 1990...
Because you don't hire anyone, Glenn. Because you've got the same 4 people working in your stupid organization you've had the entire time. You don't go outside. You don't have a life. You send someone to the store for you.
5, I think, they changed the way we calculate unemployment. And what they did is they said, are there so many people discouraged that they've just given up looking for work? Because that's not fair to the government to point out those numbers too. So...
Well, yeah, because it's not the government cannot do anything about human discouragement. What kind of fucking DARPA space ray do you want shot from the sky to make people feel motivated to work? Thank you, a lumpy horse. Oh my gosh. It all comes down to fear, make people afraid, give people someone to look down on, age-old stuff, but this is a new level. Danger democracy. For fuck's sake, these dangerous malignant turnips. Yeah, malignant turnips. Yeah, don't get upset at this stuff. A lumpy horse. Don't let this discourage you. This man has no power here. He says the same ridiculous stuff all the time. He has a fading audience. Mine's growing, his is fading. That's a good thing. And I'll be right and he'll be wrong, as always.
Are they just giving up because they're so discouraged? If you calculate it the way we did in 1993 and before that, before we took the discouragement out, our unemployment rate would be 24.5.
Yes, 24.5. Those rotten people who, before that time, couldn't rely on Social Security to get them through. It wasn't adjusted to the cost of living at all, and therefore they'd be fucked. That they would be impoverished if they didn't keep working.
4.5. The Great Depression was about 30% unemployment. We're at 24.5. The difference is they're not discouraged.
No, we're not. You know what the difference between this and the Great Depression was? In the Great Depression, all those 30%, they wanted a fucking job and it did not exist. And there was no other way for them to eat. We don't have that problem now, dum-dum.
They're encouraged not to work.
So that's different from they're encouraged not to work. And that's different from the depression, like how? Oh, I see. Those people would have just died.
Everybody's saying, what's causing inflation?
Yay.
What's causing inflation? Oh, gee, I don't know. I don't know. We're doing everything wrong. It's like
Are we?
It's like we've woken up in a parallel universe.
Oh, yeah? Have we? Yes. You mean like a post-COVID parallel universe where we're reshoring factories at the fastest clip in our nation's history? Thank you, Francie. Thanks, Andy Sarah.
The multiverse where everything that you're supposed to do, you do the opposite?
Is that what you're supposed to do in the multiverse? I didn't realize.
We have to wake our friends and neighbors up, and we'll only do it with kindness and facts. But even Democrats will know, except for the real diehard, never going to wake up to anything Democrats.
Yes, those people are drowsy.
They know something is not right. We told you that the Great Reset is the plan. The news on the Great Reset is breathtaking. Breathtaking today.
You might want to take a breath and get ready for this.
And the White House announced yesterday that they are going to get rid of Bitcoin and all cryptocurrency. It's got to go.
Is that what they announced yesterday? Or did they say they're going to regulate it in the country like a currency? Which it is. Barely.
Go. IMF is going the same way. Well,
so yes, they're going to look at it as legit now that it's reached a certain point. Oh my God, how's Glenn going to pay for his help that works under the table in all of his homes, wherever the fuck they are? How's he going to trade guns for cocaine for terrorist cells to carry out what he wants? I'm like, the fuck? That's all Bitcoin is for on any massive scale right now.
Let me give you some numbers that have just been FOIA'd and released this week. Why this is
just been FOIA'd. We got some new words for you.
Not the number one story in the world. I don't know. But I haven't seen this reported anywhere.
Well, I'm glad I'm here to see it, and I'm sure I can explain it to you.
The Fed has a 2-year waiting period on information. So they can't tell you. You can't ask, and they can't tell you 2 years. They do something, and then you have to wait 2 years to say, what did you just do? Okay? Then
because the rest of the world's markets would be manipulated based on that if they just released it all the time, and it would collapse the world's economy and our own if people could get ahead of it and start buying futures on shit based on the immediacy of it, especially if it's something they're tempering, putting forward and bringing back and that they haven't fully committed to. But that takes sensible thought. You know what I mean?
Has to be FOIA'd. Well, 2 years, 2012, 2 years went by after 2008 to 2010, and they were FOIA'd. Tell us what you did. Well, they fought it, and they went all the way to the Supreme Court, and it was, the Fed said, we need 10 years. We need 10 years. It's very sensitive, 10 years. 10 years are up.
Okay.
So it's been FOIA'd. Let me give you what they did. Now, here's what they said they did.
Oh, my God. This is what they said they did, not what they did. I mean, even though they were ordered by the court to say what they did, this might not be what they actually did. This is just what they say they did. And, of course, it was a decade ago, but it totally makes... All right.
Do you remember the Tea Party started with TARP because we were so outraged that...
Right. Hold on. Let me. I got to look smart for this. Give me 1 second. This will work. Yes, please. Now we've both got glasses on, so I feel like I can deal with this. Okay, go ahead.
$787 billion. We were so outraged, almost $1 trillion to bail out these banks. Are you kidding me? I want you to remember that. $787 billion to bail out.
Right. After that, the Fed made money on it.
TARP,
Okay, go ahead.
less than $1 trillion, the bailout for all of the banks. And we said, what are you doing? How could we possibly do that? Then the stimulus package, the Reinvestment Act, was $750 billion.
Yeah, okay. Here,
Billion dollars.
Continue.
So $1 trillion, what, $6 trillion, $5. Right. That's what they said they spent. And then the Fed said, we have to, purchase things like mortgage bonds.
Get on with it.
We're just adding money, but it's on our books. We're just going to print and digitize some money, and we're just going to buy some stuff, okay, from the banks. So they already had almost $1 trillion from us, the taxpayer, and then the Fed said we're going to do $3.5 trillion to the banks. Okay, that's what they told us. Small problem with those official numbers. They're complete and total bullcrap. Levy Economics Institute is the one that got the FOIA, and they have the findings. And let me give you the truth of what the Fed did. Between 2008 and 2010, the Fed bailed out the banks.
Oh, no.
Now, they said they'd give $3.5 trillion. Well, Citigroup, it's almost nationalizing Citigroup. Citigroup got $2.5 trillion. Morgan Stanley got $2 trillion. Merrill Lynch got $1.9 trillion. Bank of America got $1.3.
To loan out. They didn't get to keep it. To loan out. And they made all of it back plus interest. But please continue.
Trillion. But that's not all. We gave billions to the Bank of Scotland, Germany, Switzerland, the UK, France, Belgium.
Hey, and all those banks still exist and are working for customers. Currently, they didn't collapse, and they weren't eaten in the worst downturn since the Great Depression. Curious that. All right, here we go. Yes.
We gave $3.7 trillion to Japan, $1.4 trillion to the UK, 1.3.
We just gave it to them. We just gave. Hold on. Hold on. U.S. gave. How much was that? Run that by me again. Hold on 1 second. Back the fuck up. This is
France, Belgium. We gave $3.7 trillion to Japan, $1.4 trillion to the UK, $1.3 trillion to Germany. We bailed the world out to the tune.
Hey, and the world is still here. But okay.
I know why they needed 10 years. To the tune of $29 trillion.
Dear God.
They digitized
one whole year of America's GDP plus 8 months. Or not even. Sorry, 1 year and 4 months of the U.S. GDP to bail out the entire fucking world and also make money.
$1 trillion and didn't tell you a damn thing about it. And they gave it to people all over the world. $3.7 trillion to Japan.
And also, let's see, hold on. February 2019, U.S. trillion. Shit. Come on, you. There you go. If I click on it, it will make me go over. But this is the part. Federal Reserve to send record $98.7 billion profit to the Treasury. That's the interest on all that money that got paid back. All these countries are paying us constant interest on money we created out of nowhere. And meanwhile, how the Fed let the world blow up in 2008. We're just the exact opposite. Federal Reserve's on with the new rules for mortgage lenders. 2000, what happened to all that money? Hold on one second. There you go. Fed made, is this money 20? This is 2010. Fed made $9 trillion in emergency overnight loans. This is all the shit we've heard about, and it all came back. How the November 2nd, 20 made the rich so much richer. Federal Reserve took control of the money in the economy. There you go. Here you go. This is it. The financial crisis, bailouts have earned taxpayers billions of dollars. Because, hold on.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss.
Right, there we U.S. economy has come a long way since the low point of the financial crisis, 2009-2008. Stock market is now within a stone's throw of all-time highs, and unemployment is less than 5%. This is, when is this article? 2010? The idea of spending billions of dollars on corporate bailouts is enough to get any Americans' blood boiling. The good news is the bailouts actually weren't bad investment in the long term. Many people are resentful of the idea the government would step in and bail out billion-dollar corporations. That same government would never step in and directly fund struggling families in a time of crisis, which, by the way, is what it did right now, which is why Glenn Beck and all of his pals are so fucking pissed. It was the bailout that happened this time. We made profits on the 2008 one. The Fed made a profit. And then this time it came to bailing out people directly. Democratic House, Republican president, this is what he could get. This is what he got. Democratic president, Democratic Senate, Democratic House. This is where the rescue package comes in. In total, 11 companies received at least $10 billion in bailouts, but for the most part, the government was able to sell those shares of stock. This is when they bought into those things. What do you talk about nationalizing Citibank and all this? They sold we bought into them. They grew up, and then we sold them again. Taxpayers made a killing on the vast majority of bank bailouts as well. The government turned a profit of more than $13.4 billion on its Citigroup bailout. It also added $5 billion in profit for the American International Group, AIG. The bailout for Bank of America, we made $4.5 billion. Of course, not all the bailout works out. Taxpayers lost $11.3 and $50 on General Motors. That's come back around though. Other investments such as $3.4 and Aquin Financial Group, and then $1 billion select portfolio servicing, and then $973 on Nation Star Mortgage ended up total taxpayer losses. Okay, still one thing's clear. Taxpayers came out ahead. In total, $623 billion in taxpayer money was dispersed via bailouts. Roughly $698 has come back via dividend revenue, interest, fees, and asset sales. Doesn't take a math genius to see the bailouts ultimately earned the taxpayers more than $75 billion in profit. That's just those primary ones. That also is exactly what happened on the foreign markets. This is just garbage.
To the UK, to Germany, separately, 1.4 to the UK, 1.3 to Germany. Now, we're trying to figure out why inflation is going through the roof.
Because you're reading a year over year and you're using two particular markers to dirty up the entire one, which is gas prices year over year based on gas prices when no one was going fucking anywhere. In 2008, people didn't stop driving. As a matter of fact, they hustled more because they had to find more work. So you didn't have a gas price hike in that regard. It slowly worked its way back up. During 2020, it fucking collapsed. Not only was it going down because nobody was driving anywhere, but the Saudis and the Russians decided to have a game of chicken about who could lower prices the most by overproducing, where Trump had to step in and talk them out of it. You remember that? And he threatened the Saudis to protect the Russians. Weird. Meanwhile, Year over year, you've got 7% because largely these two particular things. Again, the stimulus made people buy used cars. Used car prices went up a percentage point, 35% higher than you would get because A, they're longer lasting cars than the cars that went up. Also, by the way, the used cars that people were buying in 2019 versus the used cars that people were buying later aren't just general used cars. They're usually 5 years difference. So in that period of time, you got people buying cars that are 5 years more, a higher quality.
To the UK, they're now reporting the highest inflation in 30 years. 1.3 million to Germany.
Wait a minute. We have inflation because of the 2008 bailout? Is that his argument? We gave all this money to these people 10 years ago? And that's why we've got inflation? Because they owe us a bunch of money? After 2008? What is the argument here? Because we're not printing money. We're not. That's an illusion. That's bullshit. There isn't enough U.S. currency in circulation to meet demand right now. The dollar is really strong right now. And that's because there aren't enough of them. People are fighting to get their hands on dollars to pay their own fucking bills. Worldwide. The Chinese don't have enough dollars to pay their bond dividends.
The producer price inflation jumped in Germany 24.2%, the highest since.
That's right. Yeah. The bailouts we gave Germany in 2008 are the cause of inflation in Germany right now. Is this his way of just getting rid of the whole argument about inflation worldwide? Is that where we are now? Like they recognize that inflation's not a U.S. problem, it's a worldwide problem because of supply chains. So he's digging all the way back to fucking 2008 to say that that's the reason because we bailed out companies and we bailed out countries in the lead up, which by the way, all of this stuff was rolling or negotiated under Bush and Obama equally and worked out.
World War II. Do you remember my prediction in 2010 when I was questioning this and I asked, is any of this money going overseas? Of course, that was insane to even ask. The reason why
Why? And who gives a rat fuck?
asked is because
I'm sorry. By the way, for the record, this show was not. I was not streaming 5 days a week, 6 days a week at that point. So I would gladly go back to a clip of me calling him an idiot back then. But I
inflate our money. The rest of the world will be hit first with inflation, much worse than ours.
Yes, 10 years from now, after a pandemic,
worse than ours. And these cowards all across the world who are politicians won't have the strength or moral character to say, well, I was involved. I politicked for that money and I wanted that money over here and America was giving it to us. And so we took it. They're not going to say.
All right. Okay. All right. So what he has to deal with is the fact that there have been 3 bailout bills during COVID. And only one of them was under under Biden, rather. The other 2, of the 3, the Biden one is the biggest. The other 2 were under Trump. And these 2, he's got to own and started the inflation roll in theory, if that's what they're going to use, which is all bullshit, but let's just stay there. Like most inflation is just availability. And transportation costs. That's why if gas is way up year over year, it's going to cost you more to get shit somewhere. That's going to be factored into the price more than anything else. And then available materials, because getting stuff, transporting it from where it is to where it's made, from where it's made to where it's sold, from where it's sold to to your home. Those 3 factors mean that the oil and gas prices are affecting that part of it. Won't happen. So yes, it's the shocker bailout. Yes, and for the record, in this equation, both Trump had one in the pink and one in the stink. Both of them, he was responsible for half of those. So there we go.
They're going to say America inflated their money, And we have that money as our gold. We have that as our reserve currency. They, because of their lavish lifestyle and living it up, they just printed all of this money, and now we're all screwed. That's what's going to happen. Mark my words.
Is it? Okay, I'm marking your words. That's what's going to happen. The Germans are going to blame America for their inflation because we had 3 bailouts during during COVID when they did 2. How can I dumb down? Can I dumb down the definition of year over year? Yeah, absolutely. So, if let's say you're at 0 this year and you have 2% growth the next year over year, you've only added 2%, right? From this, it's you have like one of some, like let's say you have, how do you do it? You have 100 of something. And then next year you have 102, okay? That's 2% year over year. In the next year, you have 2% like that. You have 104 of those things, which would be 4% 2 years through, but 2% each year. If you one year have 100 of something, and then next year you have 0 of that very thing, that the year after that, if you have 100%, year over year, you have 100%. You have 100 again. You have 100% growth year over year. Does that make sense? Once you go to 0, like it's based on the last year, not on some chain of events, right?
And it's going to happen faster than you think because
it couldn't possibly happen faster than I think because never is a non-temporal concept, dum-dum. There's no faster version of never.
There's more news. It's not just the 30 trillion that we know about. It's now verified through FOIA.
Dun, dun, dun.
We can show you the numbers.
So COVID had nothing to do with this inflation. It's all from the bailout of 2008.
A fact. But that's ancient history.
No, they gave it out, but they got it back. They loaned it out. They didn't hand it to them, dum-dum. They didn't even hand it to the corporations. And the corporations, they made money on the stock sales when they sold it back. They didn't hang on to it. It was in the law itself. Even the loans, they gave money for the banks to loan out because nobody was loaning any money out because the financial industry that was responsible for that was the point of collapse. So banks weren't loaning people even for their, just employee bankroll. Their payrolls, beg your pardon. And then they made it back. They also made it back from these loans. You don't fucking think that our national debt is somehow $60 trillion because we never, hey, what the fuck did we give all Germany that money for? Did we ever ask for it back? Like, what kind of childish view of the world does this dumbass think we live in?
Do you remember when they started giving money in 2019, right before, like 3 months before the pandemic? And I said,
they, who the fuck is they? They started giving money before. Oh, you mean when Trump's own Fed Chairman Powell told him that we're heading into a recession because of his idiotic monetary policies that he was enforcing and his unpaid for tax cut. And he went, fuck, we need to infuse the economy because it's starting to slow down because I haven't fucking done anything. And then he did, and we still hit a recession in February? You mean then?
The time, there's a crash coming. Something is happening. This is not normal, and we couldn't get anyone to comment on it. No.
Well, that's first of all, Trump administration. That's not my problem. Secondly, your stupid premise is not anyone's responsibility.
Would say a word. No economist could explain what the banks were doing. And I said, this is the biggest robbery of all time, the biggest redistribution of wealth. We are going to find out. Well, let me tell you in 60 seconds what they did. Now, we're going to have to probably wait 10 years for verification of this.
Oh, okay, so you just made it up. And that's awesome. Knowing full well it's going to be a decade and you'll have retired by then, you can pretty much just make up whatever the fuck.
But let me just take them at their word and do the math. If you think $30 trillion is outrageous, you haven't seen anything yet. So do you remember back in 2000?
By the way, it shouldn't be lost on anyone that he was teasing before he went to a break with this bullshit. Oh my God, $30 trillion. Most of which happened under Trump and was the responsibility of Bush, I suppose. But okay.
19, something started with the banks and they started giving them emergency cash because there was some kind of sort of fluctuation and we couldn't figure it out. No economist could. I mean, literally leading economists on CNBC and everything else, they were talking about it, but not a big deal. But they were talking about it and they were like, we don't know what this is. Okay.
No, I don't. Would you please play a fucking clip? Hold on. 2019, Fed money to banks. Okay, this is it. Okay, this is what he's talking about. What happened to money markets in February 2019? Board of Governors for the Federal Reserve System. Nobody knows what's happening. In mid-September 2019, overnight money market rates spiked and exhibited significant volatility amid a large drop in reserves due to the corporate tax date and increase in net treasury issuance. Although some upward pressure on money market rates due to these seasonal factors was expected, the extent of the increase in both the level and volatility of rates in secured and unsecured markets was surprising. In this note, we review the money market events of September 2019 and discuss the factors that may have contributed to the sharp rate of movements in the repo market and associated pressures in the funds market. What happened? The moves in both secured and unsecured rates on September 16 and 17 were much larger than any of those observed over the past few years. Shows the effective Fed's rate. There we go. This is the base point pop. It's just a weird thing. An anomaly. Since December 2015, the FFR has been quite stable and only printed outside the FOMC's target range on one day before September 17th, while the SOFR has been more volatile compared to the FHAR, and exhibited some quarter-end seasonality. It rarely moves beyond 20 basis points in a day. On Monday, September 16th, they printed at 2.43%, 13 basis points higher than the previous business day. Pressures in the repo market spilling over to the Fed's. Okay. Figures 2 and 3 show this weird spike. Why did this happen? Two widely cited factors exerted upward pressure on overnight funding rates in mid-September. First, quarterly corporate tax payments that were due September 16th were withdrawn from bank and money market mutual funds accounts and went to the Treasury's account at the Federal Reserve. Second, $54 billion in long-term Treasury debt settled on September 16th, which increased the Treasury holdings of primary dealers that purchase these securities at auctions and finance them through the repo market as tax payments. Okay, and then what happened? Here's why the spike. You want to know the fucking why the spike? This is what, let me cut to the chase of this nonsense. Here's why it happened. Because the repo markets and the bond markets have as many automated purchase and sale systems in it as the stock market does worldwide now. AI and a bunch of these like algorithmic buy-sell machines through the major stockholders and major bondholders in the world. If they see a drop-off or a spike, they trigger an automatic run. And if it goes past 5%, they all kick in. And for a little while, they start to, they get triggered. All the algorithms that trigger at 5% trigger, and then they run for the door. And then they've always said this thing about like, if you wanted to make everybody run out of a theater, 5% of the people, like 5 people in a theater will make 20%, 20 people follow them. 25 people running will make 50 people follow them. And if 50 people start running, everybody will run out of the theater. So technically, to make everybody run out of a theater, you only need 5 people to run for the door. Because the 5 will trigger the 20, the 25 will trigger the next 25, and the 50, and on and on. So that's what happens. This is a digital version of this, and companies have shifted to a digital format on a bunch of these things. This is why, if you have Robinhood or use any of these trading things, you'll see the spikes automatically 5%, 5%, 5%, 5%, 5% day to day. They go up 5%, they drop 5%. They go up 5%, they drop 5%, day after day, because these machines are tricking the system and shuffling cash in and out. They buy into the 5%. Once it hits that point, they sell it. And then that makes the price drop because it triggers all the other computers. Then when it hits this 5% drop, they buy because they're like, oh shit, it dropped 5%. And then they buy up till, you know, and that triggers everybody else to buy until it hits 5% again, and then boom, it triggers it again. Again and again and again and again. That's why. This is what happened. This is automation. This is what's happening. Oh my God, what could possibly be doing this? Oh, thanks, Francie. It's just my regular Apple Watch. It's just Ethan got a NASA band for summer, and it doesn't fit hers. So I started wearing it.
I said, they are bailing out the banks. They are transferring wealth, and they're doing it on an epic scale. And it started at $50 billion a day. They were making available. Any bank that needed it could get $50 billion to loan.
To loan. What? Hey, anybody know what part of the $50 billion the bank gets to just keep forever? Anybody? Anybody know how a bank makes money or a profit to pay their employees, keep branches open, keep being able to fiscally responsibly loan out money? Anybody know which part of the 50 billion they make money off of? The interest. Which they can set because it almost costs them nothing. And then they have to pay that 50 back, and they can keep this part. I don't know why this is hard.
Overnight, and then you'd pay it back the next day.
Right. That's the repo market.
It became the first night there was such demand, it quickly went up to $150 billion every single night. And you didn't have to pay.
Yeah, to different fucking banks.
Back right away. First it was right away, then it was 3 days, then it was a couple of weeks, and then it was
it was a fuck couple of weeks, was it? It was
right away, then it was 3 days, then it was a couple of weeks, and then it was
then it was a fucking couple of weeks. It was a fuck. Right.
I think 3 months, and then it became kind of like, do you ever have to pay this back? Then we went into the pandemic.
You mean under Trump?
April of 2020, they began issuing loans.
Let's say, hold on. Juliet saying, in early 2019, Russia started playing with oil and gas prices. It's led to a crisis with banks in the USA, mainly JP, as they faced trillions in loans to fracking companies being lost through default payments. I'm guessing this had a part to play in the fluctuations. I don't doubt it. Yes. That's the oil and gas part of it.
$1 trillion per week. Officials tell me most likely they don't have to ever pay that back. All these.
Yeah, most likely. That's in the law. It's written. It says it's subsection 3 of the Fed's balance sheet thing. Most likely, you never have to pay it back. Most likely. You know what, bro? Just walk with it. Shit.
Loans. They're not actually getting. Nobody's getting the money back. Okay. $1 trillion a week. We know that to be a fact. Now, because of the secrecy of the Fed.
But, by the way, no, he doesn't.
We can't verify.
He just went from 50 billion to 150 billion for over the course of like 5 days, or 2 days in this case, to $1 trillion a night. It was a fucking $1 trillion a night.
I'm going to do, but let's do the math. And this would be insane. I would have never done this if we hadn't have gotten the official numbers from the Fed of what they did in 2008 to 2010,
which they made money on.
Digitized $30 trillion and then lied to us and said it was only 5. 30.
No, they didn't.
trillion. That's a fact. The fact is, in April, they said they were going to continue this loan to all of the banks.
By the way, the United States currently has a $24 trillion GDP. Every year, $24 trillion worth of exchange through the U.S. economy. So far. And anybody want to guess if that's gone up since 2000? You don't have to check. You can if you want to. We had a $10 trillion economy in 2000. It's doubled in the last 20 years.
At $1 trillion a week. Well, it's been 95 weeks. That would equate to $95 trillion plus the 30. Transitory? Even at 30, transitory inflation?
What the fuck are you talking about? Again. Yeah, I know I'm way over. This is so dull. It's like watching a man struggle with a crayon.
Any of these people in Washington. What this means is that Trump was siphoning trillions of dollars out of the Fed while he was president and not putting it on the books, and then Biden came in and everything he's done is on the fucking books, and that we're only responding economically this year, that all of Biden's inflation is the fault of Trump dumping money into his own pocket in the system or his buddies or some shit in September of 2019. What the fuck? Our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren are on the hook.
Are gonna make money off that money that's in circulation?
For trillions of dollars you never got. Because they went to banks and banks all over the world. We have no idea
that owe us
where this money is going because they won't answer the question. This is why you're seeing today, but what, 2 days ago?
This is why cat food is expensive.
IMF came to El Salvador and said, stop using Bitcoin. Can't use Bitcoin. They're trying to stop all Bitcoin. Yesterday, the Biden administration...
Because almost all, I would say all the major fentanyl trade in the world is done on Bitcoin. All the human slaves that are traded in the world right now are traded using Bitcoin. All the cocaine, all the heroin, all the methamphetamines are all traded on Bitcoin because it's untrackable and untraceable. And if you want to use it in the United States where we're the reserve currency, we're not going to compete with something that can be used for illegal trade openly. Good God.
Came out and said cryptocurrency has got to stop. We're going to regulate, basically, we're going to regulate these things to death.
Yes, because unregulated Wild West human slavery payments are Christian? Is that what it is? Oh, yeah.
Okay.
By the way, yes, totally. Beck just lost his fucking shirt in Bitcoin.
What's your plan? Your plan is a Fed coin. Because this money is going to be shown to be completely worthless soon.
Oh, yeah. Any day now. Boom. Went to break. Slam. Bam. Oh, God. All right. Now, I'm way over time. We've gone through so much stuff. I guess we have to end on a funny note after that bore. Ew. I'm not putting my feet in corn starch. Okay, guys.
Well, guys, this is big deal, right? This is about a call between...
guys, this is the guys... Let me see if I can... Is he cross-eyed or did he put the note on the top of his phone this time?
The president of the Ukraine, Zelensky, and President Biden. And
hey, fucko. Hey, President of Ukraine, not the Ukraine. Russia calls it the Ukraine because they think they still own it. Ukraine is a country. The Ukraine is a territory that Russia thinks they own. So fuck you for using the constant Russian talking points. You're letting the cat out of the bag. You're saying the quiet part loud, dum-dum. Guys,
the call did not go well. I'm not just saying this. Fox News isn't just reporting it. This is what
this is just Fox News reporting it.
CNN put up and apparently has since deleted. I'm also seeing reports that the White House called them and pressured.
They put it up and deleted it? Oh, you mean because it didn't check out? Or you just thought you saw it?
To delete it. But what apparently has happened was that the call between Joe Biden, our incompetent in chief, and President Zelensky didn't go well. Joe Biden was saying, you're on the verge of invasion, and Zelensky was actually telling him to calm down. But we'll never know because they won't release the transcript. So,
right. This is going to be the scandal. That Biden is trying to help Ukraine too much. Trump is required by Congress to supply lethal aid to Ukraine. He won't do it unless they announce an investigation into his political opponent during a campaign. He gets found out and he's impeached for it. Meanwhile, Biden is going, dude, you don't understand. I know they amass troops at your border all the time, but they're bringing the medics this time, which means they're planning on going in. And Ukraine's going, no, we don't. Everybody will go down into a bomb shelter. We are barely recovering. We don't want to panic everybody. You're like, dude, you have reason to panic. This is a generalized argument between the two.
Jake Tapper, who originally reported it, deleted the tweet with the embedded video. We should note the White House released its own
Did he? Let's see. Jake Tapper deletes video. Oops. Boasting House CNS 2020. Deleted a thread that also, let's see, hold on. I deleted a thread described in the event because the thread had, okay. Cancel, okay. Everything I'm seeing about Jake Tapper's deletions all were during the campaign. Cuts a lot of Laura Trump. It says, let's go. Deletes video Ukraine. Let's see if there's, if that's a press secretary, White House disputes CNN story, the Biden Zelensky breaking. We have recovered the Ukraine call report that Jake Tapper CNN deleted. Please do not RT. Okay, this is supposedly the breaking news one. Okay, so let's see.
We have breaking news for you in our world lead. A senior Ukrainian official tells CNN that today's phone call between President Biden and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, quote, did not go well. Our source tells CNN that the two disagree.
Oh, right. They're talking about the source who's one of the holdover Russian sock puppets. That guy.
About the immediacy of the threat of a Russian attack on Ukraine. The White House and Pentagon have been emphatic that they believe an attack could be imminent. We should note the White House just released its own readout of that call, and there was no mention of President Biden's warnings or the two presidents' disagreements. The White House did say Biden underscored America's commitment to Ukraine's sovereignty. CNN's Matthew Chance joins us now live.
Yes, which is a distinct difference from what Trump did.
Kiev, Ukraine with more. Matthew, what more are you learning about this disagreement on the Biden-Zelensky call? How heated did it get?
How heated?
I'm not sure I could characterize how heated it got, but there was definitely a disagreement about the sort of level of risk that the country is facing when it comes to a Russian invasion. On the one hand...
Yes, we have satellites that can see the entire area. The president of Ukraine does not have access to the spy satellites and the bombers and all the stuff that we have flying over the area that we do. So we're telling you, dude, we can see it. Yeah.
President Biden, this is according to an official who briefed me on the conversation that was had on the telephone call this evening. On the one hand, President Biden saying the threat is imminent. I mean, we've heard this before. The Ukrainians pushing back on that, saying that the threat, according to their intelligence analysts, is a bit more ambiguous than that, and it's possible that there won't be an invasion. Whereas President Biden apparently,
well, yeah, we're working on that, dude. But we're going to need to know that you have enough guys at the front in case this shit gets real quick.
His Ukrainian counterpart that an invasion was virtually certain later on in February when the ground becomes more frozen in this country. He went on to say that he warned the Ukrainian leader that the capital, Kiev, this city here, could be sacked. And that's the word he apparently used, according to this Ukrainian official, sacked by Russia.
According to this unnamed Ukrainian official, who it somehow is easy on how Russia should be perceived in this situation.
Who he said may attempt to occupy it. There was also some quite bad news delivered, although expected news, I think, delivered by the US president to the Ukrainian side. President Biden, according to this official who briefed me on the conversation, saying that he told the Ukrainian leader that Ukraine would not be getting significantly more military help, that there would be no US troops sent to Ukraine to defend it. We already knew that, of course, but it was reiterated.
Yeah, you're not getting significantly more, like, we're already sending you everything you need. And again, we've seen this. This is silly. But, by the way, when did he do this shit? Hold on. Hey, guys, I want to see this. Oh, no, this is fresh. Like, is he just behind in his release of these things?
There was no mention of President Biden's warning that the two...
I'm sorry, there was no mention of what? I beg your pardon?
No mention of President Biden's warning that the two...
I'm sorry, there was no... sorry,
no
what was that word again?
Of President Biden's warning that the two presidents had a disagreement. Of course there wasn't.
There's no mention of President Biden's warning that they had a disagreement. Oh, I'm sorry. That was gibberish. I see. I was confused. I thought he just fucked up the one word and then the rest of it was supposed to make sense. My bad. Okay. Anyways, guys.
No one in the media is going to question it. Just like no one in the media is going to ask for the transcript. I remember a time, folks, where a transcript between this very Ukrainian president was a really big deal.
Well, that's because the Congress had already allocated funds to give resources to that very same Ukrainian president. And the current American president at the time, who you barely know, but apparently you've had a couple of sit-downs over a book with, denied those funds and those materials, trying to pressure them to open up a fake investigation into his political rival during a campaign season, and then held off on those legally prescribed monies and materials until the absolute last second to put more pressure on Ukraine, because legally at a certain point he could not send that stuff without it entering another fiscal year, in which case the Congress would get fully aware and have to redebate those funds and those materials again on the floor, and it would draw attention to the fact that he had denied those things and wouldn't keep the call hidden. And then he got busted anyways because somebody that heard the call was like, what the fuck? Biden's actually going, this is more serious. Russia means ill, and we have all this stuff we've already given you, but you need to use it and take it seriously.
Remember, because it was the start of an impeachment of my father. Because they...
Are you sure he's your father? I'm convinced it's the dude from Die Hard. But that could be me. Hold on one second. No, I was looking for something and I don't have it. Hold on. Yeah, okay.
The transcript. I remember our...
Yes, I remember reading from a fucking Post-it note. No, it wasn't Hans Gruber. It's Ellis. Hans Gruber is way too smart to be his dad. It was not Hans. I was making a reference to Ellis. Hans, Booby. I can give him to you.
In Chief Joe Biden saying, and I quote, "So release the transcript of the call then. That was in reply.
Yeah, my favorite part is this one, where because he was contacting this and then this. That's the funniest part. You tried to call this up recently, didn't you? You didn't screen grab this at the time?
To my father on August 23rd of 19. Again, release the
Honestly, I'll have to take your word for it because that dude he's not on Twitter as far as I know.
Of the call then. Why won't Joe Biden do that now? Why isn't this?
Because there's no concept that because it was a private call between leaders, but there's no even allegation that anything illegal or untoward happened. It was just a frank conversation between leaders. If he threatened to take all of our stuff and go home and he didn't have the right to do that because Congress had already allocated those funds, you might have a point, but you're a moron, so yeah.
Media that so desperately wanted that call not that long ago. Why are they strangely silent?
Because there's no one even alleging that anything illegal or untoward happened.
Why are they quiet about this? More importantly, if Joe Biden's the one panicking and fear-mongering, and Zelensky, the president of the country who's having Russian troops amass at his border, told him to calm down and downplayed the threat. What's going on there? Why is Joe Biden doing this? Could it be a distraction?
Could it be that our intelligence community as the United States, with the largest military 7 times over on the entire world and more access to spy satellites and material aerial support than any other society in the history of Earth, might be seeing something that guy is not seeing? And you're an expert in things that you cannot see. So,
technology? Could it be like, hey, we want things to escalate and we want it to be really bad so that people in America take their eyes off the ball? We don't pay attention to the border crisis. We don't pay attention to the supply chain issues. We don't pay attention to
we don't pay attention to how hard it is to maybe move the Post-it note further away because you look straight up cross-eyed, dude. Maybe we don't pay attention to the
disasters. We don't pay attention to cops being shot by illegal immigrants. We don't pay attention to empty shelves.
We don't? No, we just deal with them as the reality that they are. We don't panic about them, though. I know you want to shit on America and say our best days are behind us because we have inflation after a pandemic, but we don't pay attention to where my other earbud went.
Under Joe Biden, everything that he promised that he would fix, nothing is getting done. So maybe
nothing.
Little distraction.
So no, we don't have. We have 70% of Americans are vaccinated. I mean, we obviously can't force people to do it, but that you're the only one accusing him of doing that. All right. Well, I mean, we can go through these numbers, but it's so boring.
Over here, a little bit of a distractionary methodology. Maybe if the American people don't pay attention, it won't matter. But what's happening, folks? We don't know. I have a feeling we never will. But I remember a time where
I have a feeling this talking point will also shit the bed and go away without it ever turning into something. I think if somebody gets 5 eggs, then he should at least get a Magoo.
They really wanted those transcripts. I remember a time where they really cared. What changed? Other than it's probably damaging to our idiot-in-chief Joe Biden, and the media's happy to run cover for him.
That's it. That's all of it. That's the whole. That's all right. I'm way over time, but I have to show. Can I show you this one at least? Just this is Mark Levin. Sometimes they put up a thumbnail that just makes me laugh right out of the gate, and I think. This is the lid of like one of the tanks open with the president of Ukraine's face put in there. And a really exhausted Putin somehow doing this. I don't think we have to do all of this. Oh God.
You ever wondered
I don't
what
think we have to.
actors and actresses do
notice
when they have to get in shape really fast
steroids?
for a movie? Because
if you're
Steroids,
Russia,
okay.
put aside your...
I'm not, but I could be in a couple seconds. Hold on. If I'm right, let me see. If you're Russia. All right, let me see if I can be Russia. Okay. Okay, now I'm Russia. Now go ahead. Tell me. If I'm Russia, you tell me what to do. Mark Levin, the writer of one of my favorite books, American Marxism, if only. I tell you, you know how many times I have masturbated to the centerfold in American Marxism? Mwah! Seriously. Me and one of my Chinese comrades, we fight over our well-thumbed, sticky copy of your book.
American patriotism for a second. Just play this thought out, this thinking with me.
Oh, I'm with you. Yeah.
You're Russia, you're China.
I am.
You're Iran and so forth.
See, I can't. Now you've lost me. All I can be is one thing. I can't be all these things. I'm Russia. Just stick with that part. But so forth. Consider me so forth.
Don't you see this as an opportunity?
To what?
Don't you say to yourself, my God, look at the good fortune we have here.
Yes, this is what I say, especially when we've had 19% inflation and all of my comrades only make $10,000 maximum a year, which is the same the Chinese make, and there's like 1.2 billion of these fuckers. And I can't get my phone is shit, my washing machine is shit, my car is shit, my roads are shit, my life is shit. I have to take a train because there's no waterways to get any of my goods to market and stuff. And if I fuck around, I will find out in Siberia. But no. I'm very fortunate. I mean, I need a coat. But yeah.
Particularly if you've analyzed what took place in Afghanistan. Particularly if you analyze...
Yes, I look at Afghanistan. And now we have to deal with all these fucking Chechens getting backup they never had before while those guys were shooting at Americans. What a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Why couldn't the Americans stay? Why couldn't they keep dumping $300 million? You don't think I understand right now that they've got an extra $300 million a day to point in my direction? Holy shit. And now I've got to deal on two fronts? Why do you think it got so noisy in Kazakhstan? Don't get me started.
What they're doing with Iran bending over backwards while that regime is moving full speed ahead towards nukes.
Yes, sometimes they will move full spore ahead. Splurt. Especially with Iran bending over backwards. I'm just saying, Persian women, mwah.
You're saying to yourselves, what a good fortune. If we don't act now during this guy's
I'm saying it that way too. What a good fortune. I'm saying it. You're better at this than I am. I don't use any kind of American vernaculars. I just go, what a good fortune we have here. Like that.
And see, while that dope is Secretary of State and the other dope is Secretary of Defense, and these generals are as weak as generals we've ever seen, we're going to miss our window of opportunity. That's what I worry about.
All right. Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad that my fantasies and me bullshitting myself worry you. Yeah. Good. Full spore ahead.
I worry about. I don't think these wars are...
Yes, right. It's Rocky IV all over again. The equipment you asked for is in barn. Yes? They are professional minders. Hearts on fire, strong desires. Very inspiring. I mean, I was a Drago fan, but I'm standing in that crowd. How could you not start yelling Rocky? Honestly, here we go.
Concocted by, defense contractors. You hear people talk about that, or this is a blame America situation, where you hear so-called conservatives, really pseudo-conservatives who sound like the left. Oh, it's America's fault. People who love Russia or love China who are paid off by China.
Terrible.
No. America hasn't done a damn thing to deserve any of this.
And yet, here you are blaming everyone.
Except we've installed a president who's incapable of defending us. All right.
Wait a minute. I thought you fuckers had elections. What do you mean installed?
So let's take a look at this from NBC Today.
Yes.
Go.
This morning, the dangerous and escalating actions of Vladimir Putin along Ukraine's
don't threaten me with a good time.
Border could send thousands of Americans.
Oh, look at those boots. I'm into feet, one of the things. And the problem with having largely an intranet is you just can't get good foot porn anymore. So I just do what I can do when I can do it.
troops overseas. 8,500 U.S. soldiers and service members are now on heightened alert, ready to be sent.
Yes, terrible. Ready to be sent to Lithuania and to Belgium.
To Europe to join a NATO response force.
Let me just add that that's true. And there's about 60,000 American troops in Europe. Probably there used to be many more, mostly in Germany.
Right. It's weird. It's like you guys took a bunch of these people out and you're just putting them back. Fuck.
Who are also on heightened alert.
Wait a minute. I just figured something out. Son of a bitch. Trump took out like 15,000 soldiers, and Biden's just putting them fucking back, using this as a pretext. So we're going to have the same number of troops that were in Russia, Europe, before, I get very personal. Before Trump came into office? Shit.
Not to go to war directly with the Russians. But I told you about these NATO countries that are on the border, and the fear is the Russians will cut through Ukraine and then start gobbling up little pieces of these other countries. And
oh, don't threaten me with a good time.
No, this was always Russian, this was always Russian, this was always Russian. That's the fear now. Go ahead.
No final decision has been made to deploy them.
But President Biden did commit publicly to make U.S. troops available if the 30-nation NATO alliance needs more military help.
Well, we're going to fortify.
Yeah, right. Okay, well, let's see what he has to say.
Monday in the Situation Room.
We're going to... Wait a minute. Bullshit. You're going to fortify NATO allies? What do you mean? Stay in the back and let them do shit? How are we supposed to bait Americans into a war and kill a bunch of them? Tell them, Mark.
He met by video conference with 8 European leaders. Last week, the president said there were differences among leaders, but now he claims they're in full agreement.
I had a very, very, very good meeting, total unanimity with all the European leaders.
Pressure is big.
Well, now granted, we've done some shit since the last call that might have all brought them together. I'm not above pointing out my own flaws in a certain situation. I did move some shit. I got a phone call and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll push more soldiers there and I'll move some planes down. And then, of course, some medevac things that shows like we're really open for battle. So I can see why the Germans and the French would go, oh shit, and start changing things. But Mark, tell them what's up. Tell them what's the business, Mark. Give it to him.
Putin defies.
By the way, I think I love the fact that you have the respect enough to not have as much hair on your head as Putin does. That's a matter of respect. I have more hair than he does, so I wear a hat.
Demands to pull back. As U.S. officials say,
whoa, there is just no cool way to run on snow. I'm telling you. You don't want to slip in front of your other soldiers. So we all run like penguins. There's just no getting away around it. That's just the reality.
Russia continues to build up troops near Ukraine. The Russian Ministry of Defense releasing video of its forces preparing readiness checks.
They have not only shown no signs of de-escalating, but they are in fact adding more force capability.
A disturbing sign that pushed NATO to ask member nations to do more.
Now welcome that.
Wait. So wait a minute. So Biden's claims that they're more on board than they were is actually true? But I thought before the clips of the trucks that something was different. I'm starting to get very nervous about this whole thing.
Us are stepping up.
The White House is putting the risks in stark.
Well, we will fuck your outhouse, let me tell you. Boom.
We have been very...
There's it. Don't try to block our tanks with sheds. We have a shed-to-air missile. Air-to-shed missile.
Direct that
we will make you shed your pants.
Military action by Russia could come at any time.
Vice President Harris.
Well, believe me, unlike Mark Levin, I can come at any time.
Traveling in Milwaukee with...
You don't think this is snow falling, it's just really cold here.
Warning for Putin.
I can't tell you what he's going to do, but we are prepared to take decisive action if he moves in an aggressive manner into Ukraine.
What do you think Putin's response is to his inner circle when he listens to her?
I think he goes, oh shit, how am I going to pay for my 9 houses in the Bahamas and South America and other places, they'll get repoed if I can't move Bitcoin through the Bank of Cyprus, and they will cut me off. Oh, shit. Beg your pardon. Go ahead.
Think he takes her seriously?
Well, no. I mean, maybe not. She's vice president, but definitely if she's speaking on behalf of the administration and they are carrying that out and the Congress seems to back these things, yeah. I mean, we're not turtling yet, but it's a concern.
He's worried about her? No, I don't think he's worried about her at all. I'll tell you, I'm also worried about NATO. Some of these countries.
Well, and granted, he does spray people with poison in parks in Berlin, so he doesn't worry about a lot of people.
Very
Vladimir
weak,
Tushets
not just
Putin.
militarily, but in terms of resolve. So the timing couldn't be worse for the United States, I'll tell you. Go ahead.
No, it could not be worse. I mean, you've got half the inflation we do and half the inflation the rest of the world has, and you're worried about fucking cat food, and we can't get oil to our troops for more than 5 days. But yeah, sure.
Pelosi and Leader Schumer asked the White House to set up in-person briefings on Ukraine for all members of the House and Senate, and plans for that are moving forward.
Well,
right.
Gee willikers. So that's the situation.
I don't know what gee willikers means, but you seem very excited about the whole thing. You do realize we're talking about tens of thousands of dead people here, right? And you look like you're reviewing an NPR's first film ever.
We are not in the best position we should be.
Well, believe me, I will get you into the best position you can possibly be. Just meet me in the gulag.
You have to look at us facing at least a two-front situation with communist China and fascistic Russia, with Xi.
Excuse me. Fascistic. We are authoritarian. Go fuck yourself, fascistic.
And
Putin. Fascism is the joining of giant business and government. We don't have any giant businesses. We make oil and gas and everything else is shit. You got to have some big corporations to have them own the government to have fascism, stupid. What do you think we are, Italy in 1932?
Seem to get along swimmingly. Our force structure is not what it
Hey, asshole, the rivers are frozen right now.
needs to be. The Russians have been building up their military and their force structure, so have the communist Chinese. And very
well, they've got two of our super carriers, and they turned one of them into a hotel. I'm not fucking kidding. Hold on. I can show you this. Hold on. It's nice having access to American internet. Chinese super carrier hotel. Yeah, here it is. Bed, breakfast, and bombing runs. If only. Boy, do I have a boner about this place. I wish I could stay there, let me tell you. This is Kyiv, currently anchored in the Chinese port of Tianjin. How ironically that it's named after the capital of Ukraine. Once she was the flagship of the mighty Soviet Pacific Fleet, and now she's a fucking hotel. They have got two of them, and they turned one of them into a fucking casino. No shit. And neither one of them works very well. We don't even have, the ones we have are old as shit. The worst position ever. I wish.
ways. They're trained for war outside their own regional area. We have great troops too, despite what's being done to them. But things are being done to them that.
Yes, I hear that your troops are being forced to serve with the black people and women. It's hideous. We would never fall for this over here. We just run out of men in about 3 years, and we will just it's cold, so we will have shrinkage in our army. But it's nothing to be ashamed of.
Not be done to them. They should be focused 100% on fighting and winning wars.
They are.
I just don't think we're focused properly. You look at Congress today. What are they focused on? Destroying Donald Trump as a private citizen.
Well, look, we can't watch his ass all the time. We got him through the whole fucking presidency. Now he's on his own. We held him at bay as long as we could. But shit, man, we hacked the DNC and we just didn't come up with anything. Now that RNC server that we hacked, that's got some nice shit in it. But you fuckers you're not in power, so what good does this do us? You guys are never going to get elected again. How good is it to blackmail someone with kids is fucking useless?
Destroying our separation of powers and our constitutional construct, destroying our voting system, and spending more money and adding to inflation.
Mm-hmm.
How many floor debates have there been about what Russia's doing and what China's doing? How many demands have there been that the Biden administration...
I don't know the band, but I like the song they're playing.
...reveal to Congress what they're negotiating with the Iranian regime.
Whoa,
nothing.
terrible.
You hear nothing about this.
Oh my God. They don't give you regular updates? We have regular updates where I'm from. They just go, they say, "Чменьше таблуче," which means the less you know, the better off you are. We just have a press secretary come out there every day. "Чменьше таблуче," and then he fucks off. Ignorance
really
is bliss, dum-dum.
We're going to keep an eye on this. But to me, this could become an extremely grave situation. Not because we
if only.
Anything wrong. Not because defense contractors want war to make money. Not even because Joe Biden wants.
It's amazing. What's your name again? Mark Living. Mark Levin. Marcus Levino. All right.
It's because our enemy sees that Joe Biden is weak, that he's done provocative things that motivate them.
It is always confusing to us when weak people do provocative things. The nerve of this fucker to look all weak and then do provocative things. Then how are we supposed to respond? Hey, this weak dude punched me in the fucking face. But if I punch him back, everyone will say I'm beating up on a weak dude. He's got me over a barrel here, just like Mark Levin wants to be.
And that the Democrats in Congress have harmed us too. As a footnote, I'll give you an example. 7 months
Don't tease me with footnote. We already know how I feel about feet.
Ago, the United States Senate on a bipartisan level passed a bill to assist our companies that produce computer chips to produce more of them and to expand their facilities here on an emergency basis. That bill has been languishing in the House of Representatives under Nancy Pelosi for 7 months.
7 whole months. 7 whole months. Wait, who's president in the last 7 months? So they did not put this bill forward to move on ahead on these things when Trump was president? Now, I do understand that you bastards are opening lots of chip factories. Maybe they feel like they don't fucking need it. Hey, thank you, DW,
we need to be,
my Canadian comrades.
Become
you socialist sons of bitches.
In a whole host of areas, pharmaceuticals, other materials.
I wonder if the Biden, I have to look up these things. This American internet is fucking sweet, bro. Let's see. Biden pharmaceutical. My English is no good. Pharmaceutical reshoring is what they're called. Supply chain something. This kind of thing. Let's see. Announces more executive order of the supply chain to secure. There you go. There's something like this. Hold on. Wait, I'm not leaving. I'm staying right here. Biden administration recommends policy changes to secure U.S. pharmaceutical supply chain. What is this? Why this did not happen under Trump? He did not build a wall around pills? They want to boost local production and fostering international cooperation? What filth is this? Promoting research and development that establishes innovative manufacturing processes and production technologies to strengthen supply chain resilience. And you thought my English sucked. Creating robust quality management maturity to ensure consistent, reliable drug manufacturing and quality performance. And there's a fucking and, leveraging data to improve supply chain resilience. What? I thought they were against this. By the way, nice cookie jar.
manufacturing.
Sorry, I pushed the wrong button.
We're not going to be if this keeps up. Why did Pelosi and the Democrats do this?
Why? Maybe because it's already passed?
You need to read a book called Red-Handed by Peter Schweitzer.
Oh, this is the book. Yes, the Red-Handed, the Peter Schweitzer book that the right wing has been selling everywhere. You know, we covered this. It's very good stuff. If you want, there's even RT has a promo code if you need to buy it,
and you'll know
free.
Why. Because so many of them are on the take. I'm just being honest with you.
For all this and much more.
Whoa, what? Why would you do such a thing? Just being honest. What a terrible thing, Mark Levin, to do this type of business. All right, listen, I've got to get out of here. The other guy has to get out of here. Yeah, I gotta go. We're in an extra hour, and it's too much. It's just a lot. I love you guys. It's just zip by. I've been on for 3 hours, and pow. I love you guys. That's the joy of doing this show. 800 likes on the show, over 1,000 people in the chat consistently. Even the trolls are happy. These miserable bastards who just live their whole lives going, I gotta hang out in Hassan and TYT's thing, writing racial epithets. I gotta have a break. I'm a paid troll. I don't really believe these things. Just sit here all day with 9 computers open in Macedonia, and I'm cutting and pasting. Oh my gosh. Sorry, Robin. Seizure in, oh, good Lord. What in the world? Much love. Thank you, patrons, by the way. You're the ones who make this show possible, along with the lovely people who super chat us, including DW, who gave us some Canadian funds during that. Thank you guys for the bits and the support and the ad time bought on Twitch. Don't forget to subscribe if you've forgotten to. Twitch.tv/HalSparks. If you haven't resubscribed, please think about doing that. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Please subscribe. Maybe if I just ask multiple times, maybe there's a tipping point where I ask enough times and you'll go, oh, subscribe. That's what he's talking about. Please subscribe. Subscribe now. Subscribe. Just subscribe and keep subscribing. And always subscribe and follow and subscribe and click and like and thumbs up and thumbs down and write something and don't write something and then write something again. And then it's wonderful. There you go. And I'll let you guys go. And I will see you guys tomorrow in the afternoon, where I will be doing the show from Los Angeles, because I have to go in because I've got Masons and the Ultimate Jam night tomorrow night. Crazy pants. And then Wednesday I'm doing it from LA, and then I come back in crazy pants. It's just a wild, crazy thing. If for some reason something happens tomorrow, it's because I have to go get my passport renewed in a big hurry, because I didn't realize I needed it for a cruise ship to the U.S. Virgin Islands, but apparently I do. Yay. There we go. Be well, take care of yourself, and take care of somebody else, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for hanging in there. Thanks for being with me. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the Venmo. Thanks for the support. Thanks for coming here and feeling good and better than you might otherwise. And don't forget, there we go. All right, bye, everybody.